Hello and welcome to Blackpool for the start of 2 days of live streaming from the 2016 World 8-Ball Pool Championships. First up today we've got the men's semi-final between Phil Harrison and Karl Sutton. Excuse me for getting who's playing already. Joining me in the commentary box, Lee Kendall, long-time England captain. Two players you're very familiar with. Karl's obviously a current England player and multiple world champion in your team, and Phil immediately before him. How do you see it playing out?
Tough match. It's probably the better of the two semi-finals on paper. Hard to call. Karl's been playing fantastic in the team event, and he beat Mikkel the round before 9-5, so he's in form. Phil scraped through against Stephen Dempsey on the last frame, and he could have gone out really. So, but with Phil, never write Phil off. He's solid. He'll fight to the last ball.
And do you think it puts extra pressure on them? These two are essentially the two favourites for the tournament. They're the two seeded players playing the two qualifiers in the other semi. Do you think they're both thinking this is a great chance, we just need to get through this match?
I think both players will look at it from a different way because Phil's won it before. He's been in the final before as a runner-up, so he'll know what it takes to win it. He'll be thinking, well, I'm the only one that's won this tournament. There's no Gareth Potts, no Mikkel, so I'm expected to win. Now, whether he can control that pressure and feel, he's going to win the tournament. He should do for his calibre of player, but he also knows that the guy he's playing has just beat Mikkel, so he knows he's in form. And from Karl's point of view, it's unknown territory. Yeah, he won the Europeans in February, and he's in form. He's playing well, but this is the next step up. So I have said to Karl, I expect him to win things like this.
Let me stop you here, Lee. Apparently the players are ready to come out to get the action underway. Referee John Hope to introduce everyone.
Final of the men's 2016 World Individual Championships, and I welcome to the arena, please, referee Sacha Gauci from Malta. Timekeeper is Claire Watts from England. The first player in the arena is Karl Sutton from England. And his opponent today is former world champion, also from England, Phil Harrison. I shall now hand you over to your match referee, Sacha Gauci.
They've played a lot of pool to get to this point, but this is what really matters. They step up to lag in the first of our semi-finals. Two very experienced players here. Both been out in this arena a lot. Karl perhaps more in recent years, but Phil, going back a bit, was in 3 semis in a row and then went on to win it in 2009, so he knows what it takes.
Yeah, more so Phil with the individual side and Karl on the team side, so you'd have to say on paper Phil Stott's a favourite in this match, Mark.
Yeah, interesting situation for Karl. He's playing out in this arena a lot, but as you say, not for individual matches. It's kind of like his opportunity to step out of the collective glory of your England team that's won so many matches and prove that he's a good player in his own right.
Yeah, he did that in the Europeans, winning the title this year, so I think all the players know his ability and what he's capable of. So if he carries on his form, Phil will have his hands full.
Referee for today, Sacha Gauci, just making sure that the balls are set up properly. A lot of pressure on everyone out there at the start. He doesn't want to be responsible for the first break not being a good one.
see he played the cut break there, he played the second ball down. Phil's done that nearly every year he's got through to the TV stage, and it seems to work for him.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing not to change it. We talk at length every year about what's the best way of breaking, but Phil knows he's found a way that's worked in the past, so no reason to change it now. You saw not very much power in that break at all, but he's got a good split. A couple of yellows driven to the side cushions, but everything else bang in the middle of the table.
Yeah, he would have liked the cue ball to finish in the centre of the table. He had a choice of reds or yellows, but with the cue ball getting right to the bottom of the table, he hasn't got an opening shot, so he might be just clipping the yellow off and bringing the white ball back to what it is. Yeah, with him potting a yellow ball off the break, he nominated the yellow, so he just promoted the yellow over the pocket where the red is. Take a bit of control. And that'll be how Phil plays the match. He's a very good match player.
Yeah, I think you'd have seen some players a bit frustrated there. If he'd have been on any of the reds, he'd have been able to go for it straight away. But as you say, he likes this sort of game. He knows how to eke out his chances.
Yeah, the only problem with the shot that he played, he forgot about the position of the cue ball. So yes, he did get the yellow to block that red in the bottom right-hand corner, but the reds were still open, and he can get behind it, or he could disturb that area.
Yeah, he sacrificed a lot of position on that first shot. I mean, it would be useful to have this bottom pocket covered, but he hasn't quite done that.
What he can do is play the red off the rail and inside the yellow and free the pocket up, so that's what he's going to play now. Just move the yellow away. It's a good shot. And this is typical how Karl's been throughout the tournament as well as in the teams. He's been top of the averages in our team, and he's looked confident and comfortable in the balls.
Yeah, he's always very assured when he's in. He looks like he knows exactly what he wants to do.
And I think it is important for Karl to get off to a big start, because then his confidence will get higher and put the doubts into Phil's mind, because Phil knows on paper he's favourite, but you don't win tournaments on paper.
No, absolutely, and this is an ideal start. Just nice, obviously, to win the frame, but just to get in and pot a few relatively straightforward balls. Now he's opened that pocket up.
Yeah, he's hoping he's got a little bit of an angle. I can't see if he's too straight to get them onto the next red, which is below the two yellows. Yeah, he's perfect. And the only real tricky shot he's going to have to play is position up to the 8 ball, but I'm sure the red on the bottom left-hand side will be his last ball, where he can just stun up the table and have a choice of playing the 8 ball into the top right or into the centre pocket if he goes too far.
He's come a fraction further on that than he wanted to. Should still be okay, but just got to be a little more delicate with this shot.
Yeah, I think you can cannon into the yellows, or you can just drop it dead weight. Just might cannon off the edge of the yellow. That's it. He left himself too straight though.
Yeah, that was the only problem with that position he left himself in. It just wasn't quite as natural an angle to get perfect on this last run.
You can see a little grimace there, so he knows he's going to have to run the cue ball off 2 cushions and have a longer black than he would have liked, but he will definitely have a shot at the black, and we'll see how well he's feeling. I don't think you should try and do too much, just get yourself a shot. Probably about a foot below the yellow on the left hand side cushion. Oh, he can't play that shot on this table. That is just a little bit of lack of knowledge of how the tables play on the TV arena. When you play with a lot of top, the ball doesn't grip, so it slides, because what he tried to do is run off the bottom cushion, the side cushion, and come up and play the black in the middle. So he's left himself a thin clip into the right hand pocket.
Oh, that's an excellent shot.
That tells you he's feeling good now.
That is an absolutely brilliant first black to pot. He'd left himself in a lot of trouble there, and it would have been a horrible way to lose that frame.
Yeah, he got away with it in a way, because he's played to run round and take the black into the centre. If the cue ball had travelled a bit further, he wouldn't have had a shot on the black, but it was a very good black.
Yeah, I mean, that previous shot, as you say, just needed the side to grip off the cushion, but every year we see people try that shot. It's the kind of shot that on a older table with stickier cushions is much easier to play, but on these super fast ones, it's not really the way to do it.
He just slides. I mean, anybody that hasn't played on the TV table for all the heat of the cameras and the new cloth, you just cannot play that shot. But I think it'll go in his memory bank. He won't make that
He
mistake
won't do it again.
He won't upset him too much because he knocked a very good backhand.
No, I mean, and in fact, from Phil Harrison's point of view, that's almost worse. He would have thought that he'd lost the frame, then had a glimmer of hope, which was snatched away again. So, first chance to see Karl Sutton break.
Yeah, he's getting the front ball with power.
So, two very contrasting breaks, and not the result Karl was looking for. No balls down.
Yeah, he got a lot of power in there. Most of the balls, 11 balls, have gone up past the halfway point of the table.
Yeah, that's the frustration of the break. You could hit it that well, and another day you could put 2 or 3, but they all clustered around the pocket and stopped each other going in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the cup break, though, because if you do make a ball, they tend to stay nice and open, and if your cue ball can stay around the middle of the table, you're going to be fine. Whereas you can hit them as hard as you want, and it's just pot luck with a front ball break. And just a safety from Phil. With the cut break, you at the second ball down, you try and get the yellow to come back into the centre pocket. There's a ball that you know will go. So there's a little bit more control with that. That's what the lads in Stoke call a Kenny cut break.
Yes, you know you're doing well when they name it after you. I don't think Phil will mind a frame like this. I mean, ideally he would obviously rather have got in and got his first frame on the board, but if need be, he's happy to play this tactical kind of game.
Well, he's just trying to play the yellow off the red. A dangerous shot, but you can still see there's a bit of work to be done with the 4 yellows at the top. It's really the positional shot. If he can get through to the one over the pocket, the positional shot to the next yellow here, he can't really guarantee that he's going to get the cue ball out. Maybe screw off the other yellow and hope to come into the middle of the table. It's a clever little shot there because he's got onto the yellows, so he's now on the yellow balls, and he'll probably just contain him behind the yellow, hoping for a better opportunity next visit. But he does not need to hit a cushion after this when he clips off it.
Yes, he can play off the yellow his nearest, as long as he knocks the white onto the cushion, which he should do afterwards.
You just won't want to have left a plant down to the bottom right-hand corner.
No, it would be unlikely for these to be a dead set plant, but actually from this angle they do look fairly close. I mean, it would have to be very, very well set to actually pot the ball.
I think he'd be happy to get the pocket.
Yeah, I was going to say, failing that, if
he
he leaves the white tied up at this end and promotes the red down the other end. That's what he's tried to do.
That's a good shot.
That's pretty good. Now the frame's starting to get a bit more open if either player does get a chance. So Phil's got to be a bit careful with this.
See Phil having a think. He might try and clip the yellow over to the other pocket. Oh, does the middle yellow go out of the 3? No, the top one did. He's got the bag. He's got half the bag anyway, but he's tied the 8 ball up.
Yeah, so good news and bad news with that. I don't think he's quite got enough of the pocket to stop Karl getting that red pass, but he's made it a bit harder.
He has, but like you say, he's left an opportunity. He can take the one by the 8 ball, bring the cue ball back up the table. notice and fancies.
Yeah, perhaps can't quite see enough of that red. It's quite tight from that angle.
I thought he might have clipped it towards the pocket though. Could have still opened that pocket, that red up.
Yeah.
Had the 8-ball pocket, with the 8-ball being there. But he's played a good shot. He's blocked that side of the table. But Phil could bring the yellow down to the area where the 8-ball is now. Just be a safety. That's exactly what he's done. So I think Karl's made a mistake there tactically. Because he's in more control having the yellow over that pocket than Karl is with the red over the top one. You see Phil trying to get another one of these yellows over the pockets. He's played the DF here. Has he got it? Oh, it's a great shot.
Oh, that's a really good shot. The direction and pace, absolutely perfect.
And good thinking as well. Because if he didn't get that, Phil would have covered another one up.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows his prowess. I mean, not that there was any real doubt, but I think a lot of people would have picked Phil Harrison to be the better safety player of the two, but Karl equipping himself well so far.
It's still a 50-50 frame. I think Karl's slightly favoured, but Phil's in a position now where he could try and develop the balls at the bottom. The yellow might slide underneath the 8-ball and get that pocket.
Chance to get this top right pocket covered if he can get the yellow around the red.
That's if he doesn't think he can slide it past and pot it. Because if he can get position, he can keep his 2 and attack. But if not, like you say, he'll be covering the pocket, then probably play the DF back down the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, if there's a full ball's width between the red and the cushion, as you say, it will pot. It's going to be fairly close.
Karl just sat there, hoping for another chance in this frame.
Well, he'd have liked it to drop, but that's not so bad.
Well, it gives him time now to develop the area at the bottom of where the 8-ball is, so he can pot the one he's closest to now, get down and slide the yellow I was on about before underneath the 8-ball. He can either play the deliberate foul and put the yellow over the pocket, or if he thinks there's a gap, he can try and free it out. Knowing that he's got the security of the yellow over the top pocket. Yeah, I think he thought that went.
Yeah, the way he played it.
But it just goes to show how you think Karl was in total control and winning a couple of shots. Phil's got himself back in the frame.
Yeah, these pockets are deceptive. You often think a player's got the pocket properly covered, and it turns out to be a way round.
So you see there's the stop clock there. Everybody's given a minute to play the shot. A call on 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's not very often that you see people get to the 60-second limit, but somehow just knowing you've got that limit adds that little extra bit of pressure. And it's something we've been doing for a long time in 8-ball pool, that shot clock, but it's something that a lot of other sports have introduced recently. You see a lot more snooker tournaments these days with a similar clock arrangement.
You see that Karl's decided that there's nowhere to hide, so he's going to attack. Get the cue ball over to the other side of the table. Needs it to stop. Just run a little bit too far. Shot's still there. You have to jack up a little bit, pop the red the corner and try and develop the other one.
Yeah, it's important he does develop that other one, because that's the real stumbling block, the one on the far right-hand side of the table, just above his hand.
It's a great shot.
That's good. Every time so far when he's been faced with a pressure shot, he's delivered the goods so far.
Phil doesn't look too impressed with his little shake of the head.
No,
But you have to say, he's shaking his head, but it's more his good play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been good play from both of them so far in this frame. They've both done all they could in any given position.
Mm-hmm. He just looks in the stroke, doesn't he, Karl? Looks confident.
Yeah, this was a clearance where it was a possibility, but he's gone about it so calmly that he almost seemed like he believed 100% at the beginning he was going to get it.
Just needs to be careful here, make sure he pots the red ball clean, doesn't want to flick the yellow ball. Probably landed a little bit on the wrong angle, that's why he's taking his time. He'd like to just pinch a bit of the pocket and screw over, but he's just worried about flicking the yellow. He might have to drop it in. That's a sensible weight.
Yeah, very slightly more difficult playing the black this way, but guaranteed himself a shot. There was no point taking the risk of knocking the yellow in the way of the shot. Well, it's good stuff from Karl Sutton. Phil Harrison hasn't done a lot wrong so far, but finds himself 2-0 down.
Yeah, the early questions I asked about Karl, I think he's answered. He looks to have carried on his form from the Europeans and certainly his form from within the team.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't somebody that you would have picked to be nervous when he came out here, but equally, whoever you are and however much you've played in high-level pool, this is an important moment for him, so you'd have forgiven him for getting off to a slow start, but there's been no signs of rustiness so far.
No, and the difference of playing out in the arena on the 8-foot table, he looks solid to me. I said Phil was a favourite in the match, but looking at how Karl's looking at the moment, he'll soon be changing that.
Yeah, I mean, Phil a favourite, I suppose, in terms of experience, although only in terms of experience at this level and in this format, because Karl's won a lot of tournaments. As you say, he's the current European champion. He's had a decent run here. He's had a quarter-final here a couple of years ago.
But Phil's been the man in form this year. I think he's won three tour events. I think he won a £1,000 a man competition not so long ago. So that's why you'd put him as favourite coming into it.
Yeah, it's been a real resurgence in form for Phil Harrison. I mean, he didn't exactly go away, but after the world title in 2009, runner-up in 2011, a couple of years when he wasn't playing so much, but he's really back with a bang now.
So we'll see Phil's cut break again. Second ball down. A little punch to the side cushion.
Well, not the best break there. He's not potted anything and slightly lost control of the white. I think he was mindful of trying to control the white better than last time, but
I think with playing the cut break myself, it's about the pace. When you know the pace of the table, you know how much speed to give it to get the ball. You're trying to make a ball in the middle pocket. So it's just a matter of it being an 8-foot table and just getting the pace of it. And the most dangerous part about the cut break is if you don't make a ball, you can leave, as we say in the game, Mary Poppins, where you can just leave no work to be done. It isn't the case this time because there's a couple of yellows guarding the reds on the right hand side of the table, but there's none on the cushion.
Yeah, so in a way it's a bit counterintuitive, that break, because it's not about hitting it that hard. Sometimes you can take the pace off and it improves it. So, as you say, it's finding a balance.
What I like on the 7-foot table, when you do it, you either get a very good break, and if you're lucky, you make a ball. So you're trying to make the ball in the middle. But if you don't make it right, it can go a mess. It can all go to the side cushion. So with the tactics side of it, you can take a little bit of control. But that was a very good shot there from Karl. He's thinking clearly. He's left himself a nice angle. He's just showing you where the cue ball's going to go into. So when he pots the red into the centre, he should be moving the yellow away. He just needs a cue ball not to stick on the red. So it's all about the pace now and controlling where the cue ball goes and where the yellow ball goes. It's important to get both of them in good shape.
Yeah, I've been impressed with his thinking so far. He's played the right shot on every occasion. There was one tactical shot we wondered if he should have covered a pocket, but every positive shot he's really played as well as he possibly could have done.
Well, he's gone the different way. He's gone long. I thought he would have just potted the one in the middle and cannon the yellow off. I still think he should have played that because he's got a bit of work to be done. And certainly around by where the 8-ball spot is, there's 3 balls there, 2 yellows and a red, which he'll be looking to develop. I don't know if you're going to try and cut the one in the middle and come off the bottom cushion and flip the edge of the yellow and develop the red. No, he's missed it. He's tried to put a bit of side on that, that's why he's missed it by so much. Bit of side, flick it in, come off the cushion and develop those.
Yeah, I mean that was a tricky shot, playing with the wrong side for the pot. That was not a straightforward shot.
I think his mistake was not taking the red into the centre. I think he could have took the red into the centre and opened that area up. And if he had the right angle, he might be able to pop the other red in the middle and come down and develop the other balls. But taking it long, he left himself no real shape.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that looked a more difficult pot and a more difficult position. I don't know whether he just didn't have the angle that we thought he did, or if he just saw it differently.
Yeah, he's probably just thought by taking it long he could get the angle he wanted for the splits on his next red, and he didn't achieve the angle he wanted, so hence why he had to play with side. And just a containing safety from Phil.
Yeah, if he'd have had an easy starter, he'd have been happy to go for it there, but no pot that he could be certain of, so decided not to push the boat out.
But with all the reds being down one side of the table and the yellows being the other, so it could be like cat and mouse. It's a clever little shot, covering the pocket. But the cue ball, similar to the first frame, has been let loose, so he can pop the yellow into the centre, and he will have an opportunity to go for the finish, although not an easy one.
No, it's just the ball's down this end of the table. The middle one pots now, but the other two are going to take a bit more work. They do pot, but they're going to be a bit harder to get on.
And that's why he's choosing to play safe. Because he knows, same as Phil's ball's tied up, so is Karl's. So that's why he's just decided to try and tie the 8-ball up and part the cue ball on the top cushion.
Although I think there are a lot of players that wouldn't have really wanted to give their opponent this opportunity, because Karl does have a chance now. He can play this long plant first.
I don't think he'll be playing that one with the red not being quite over the pocket. I think it'll be, if he can get through to the one he's nearest to, he might just drop that one down to the bottom right hand pocket. So he's looking at it now. He's also thinking of playing the 3-ball plant to move the yellow over, but if he leaves it near the bottom cushion, then there's a gap underneath that red, so he needs to be careful here. And when he's potted the yellow, he's just got the pace right. So good shot.
Yeah, not the end of the world to have promoted that yellow, although that's one of the difficult ones out of the way for Phil. So.
And the good news for Karl, where he's promoted, he got that pocket, but on the other side of the table, red's gone in a line where it would block him getting position to pot the one near the 8-ball spot and break the other yellow out. That red on the bottom cushion's in the way. You might try to get behind it now and take it long, the one on the cushion. No, he's decided to split it. I'm surprised at that shot. Got away with one there, I think, because if he had just stopped a few rolls shorter, he'd have no shot.
Yeah, that was a hard one to control. You could perhaps be fairly sure of hitting the ball, but you had no idea where the white was going after it.
I think he should have just played it in the corner and just got himself on the pot in the top right hand corner, top left corner, sorry. But it's worked out good. If he makes the pot in the middle, if it goes. Well, to see from this angle. Now he's playing safe again. Trying to put the cue ball behind the yellow at the top. It's all about the pace. It's a bounce. Oh, what a good shot.
That's a shot, isn't it? And he needed it to be, because he didn't need to leave Karl a shot at any of these reds, otherwise he'd have been in big trouble. It just shows the control to judge the angle and then drop it in dead weight behind the yellow like that.
Yeah, it's just important that Karl does actually hit a red here, because he would give 2 visits away and make the finish easy. But if he hits it, even if he leaves him a finish, he's still got an awkward ball. So he's coming off the side cushion. There you go. He's hoping to hit 1 of the 3 balls.
Yeah, I suppose the advantage of playing it that way, it was quite a big target of reds that...
He had a choice of 3, like you say. He could have hit the one in the middle of the table, the one over the pocket, and if he missed that one, he could have hit the one just to the right side of it. But what he has done, potted it and give himself a golden opportunity to take the frame. I can't see his angle. He'd love to just be able to drop this in and just hold the cue ball there. If not, be running off the side cushion into the middle of the table. Yeah, he's got the nice angle to just drop it in.
What an amazing turnaround from looking like he was in a difficult position where he was almost certain to leave Phil an easy finish. Suddenly he's on 2 reds for victory.
Well, if we saw Phil now, I'm sure he would be shaking his head.
Yes,
he's thinking he would get one opportunity.
Spends a lot of time shaking his head when things are going well, but I think you couldn't blame him for shaking it right now.
Yeah, it's normally when he's perfect. That's Phil. Still looks composed. Right, looking there, thinking, when am I going to get into the match?
Yeah, I mean, at least in this match, 1st to 10, he's got plenty of room, but you still don't want to be going 3-0 down if you can help it.
He'll be sat there thinking, well, I haven't done a lot wrong. Karl's just played really well.
Yeah, he'll be thinking, I've just played a great snooker. I thought I was about to clear these up myself.
And he'll also be sat there thinking, please miss this black.
Yeah. Yeah, not as difficult as the first frame, but not a gimme either.
Well, it looks easy from there, but
shot.
Made look easy. It's a great shot. And that takes Karl Sutton into a 3-frame lead. Alarm bells must be ringing for Harrison. See the tournament sponsor there, the Hotel Collection.
Yeah, I think it's the 10th year at the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool. It's a popular home for the tournament.
I think for Phil, he'll just be frustrated. He'll be thinking, well, I haven't done a lot wrong. And when I'm in that position, I always think, well, if I haven't done a lot wrong, just wait for your opportunities. It will come. Don't get too upset, because Karl will miss.
Yeah, I mean, you would say he can't carry on playing like this, because he'd certainly be world champion if he plays to this standard. He's done precious little wrong.
Just in every match, no matter how well you play, you will miss a couple of balls, and Phil needs to be ready. It's very rare a player comes and just does 10 perfect frames against you, which Karl has done. I won't say 3 perfect ones, but not far off.
No. And Phil's a player that he doesn't mind a bit of match player. If it takes him a while to get back into it, he'll be happy to grind it out.
Yeah, I think Karl was second favourite for this match at 2-1. He's not looking like a 2-1 underdog at the moment.
No, I'm not sure I would have put him at those odds even before the match, but certainly not now.
I think it's more a show of respect to Phil,
Yeah.
rather than a lack of respect for Karl. He's just so hard to beat.
I mean, it's not a huge age difference between them, but Karl, if you like, is one of the slightly newer generation current England player, where Phil's been there and done that in the past. So certainly the up-and-coming one of the two.
Yeah, I think Karl's made a red ball off the break. They all look nice in the open. You can see the red does go, with Karl attacking that one first, so this is a massive opportunity to take a 4-0 lead two reds in the middle of the table, which are quite close. So we'll just need to get position on those. They go. I think he's just slightly underdone that positional shot, though.
Yeah, I assumed he was going to try and play on those two that you mentioned together now.
I think he did. I think he just slightly underhit it. But you just need to rethink the way he's going to take the finish now. He might be able just to drop this one and then take the other middle.
So in the fourth frame, this is the first chance anybody's had of clearance from the break. We'll see plenty more of that as the day goes on.
He's slightly over on it, so he's under hit one and over hit one. It's Amy's Beauchamps, previous world champion.
And if we reach the final again, we'll be seeing her tomorrow afternoon playing on this table.
Well, is he able to play the red and the corners? Cue ball very close to it.
Yeah, you saw how delicate that shot was. He had to turn it over with a bit of side, which is why he wasn't able to do too much with the cue ball after he potted it.
He'd like to have a little bit of an angle here so he could punch out, but he looks pretty straight to the corner, which would mean he's got to leave the cue ball close to where he is.
Yeah, this is awkward. It's got to be.
He could actually push it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be.
Push shot on these
Got to be
rules.
careful with it.
By playing off the side of it, it'll throw it to the right. So you might miss the right hand side of the pocket like that. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get it. As soon as he played across the ball, it's going to push the ball to the right.
I mean that was a difficult way of playing the pot, and you can see from the position it wasn't going to be perfect, even if
he couldn't pot it the way he's played it because the ball's thrown to the right. You needed to play it full in the face and just play a push shot because you can play push shot under these rules.
Yeah, I mean you can't out and out play a push shot, but the rule is drafted such that if you play it firmly and cue down on the ball, it's not
with
deemed to be.
Speed, I think the word is.
Yeah.
Your definition of speed and mine,
Yes.
speed can be totally different, but you still get away with it.
It's different from a push shot in snooker, the rules, which is.
Yeah, it's a clear rule in snooker where you cannot push at all. But the only time you can't push a ball in world rules is if it's touching ball. It's probably a rule they need to clear up, to be honest, because there's such a grey area of what people think.
Yeah, it's a very difficult rule to explain to people.
And can cause a few arguments.
Yes.
If I don't think your speed's correct.
Yes, most people interpret it as if you hit it very hard, you won't have a problem.
I played Rusty Wheeler a few years ago in the team, and he played one, and it moved about 2 foot, and I said, "That's got to be a foul." I said, "You've not played it with speed." He says, "In my opinion, that's speed."
It's a slow speed.
I said, "Well, not to me." But it's just how you interpret the rules. I know certainly the Australians interpret that rule totally different to how we do over here.
Yeah, I mean, to a point, it doesn't matter as long as you all interpret it the same. It's when you don't that the trouble starts. Either way, Phil Harrison is happy to interpret it either way, so long as he gets to go at the table, which is what he's got right now.
Yeah, it was a chance which, like I said in the last frame, he will get opportunities. Karl will make the odd mistake. He's not the sort of player you want to let off because he's capable to do what Karl's done in the first 3 frames. So he'll just be relieved to get to the table and get a frame on the board. You don't feel like you're in the match until you have.
No, and this is not obviously the stuff that can go wrong, but this is a simpler opportunity than his previous one.
Well, talking about things that could go wrong, you see where you're going to leave the cue ball. He would like to have been probably half a foot shorter. Now he's going to have to play the cue ball roughly from where the yellow is and top through on the next yellow by the 8 ball. Ideally he'd want to not disturb the 8. So whether he can maintain that angle.
Yeah, that black looms large. Can he just flick off the side of it?
Well, he is going to hit it. I think he's just okay, but he will be pushing it. The cue ball will be trailing towards the pocket. Just needs to make sure he gets far enough down. He's flicked off. He's been towards the pocket as I suggested.
That's pretty good though.
Just needs to be careful now the cue ball doesn't get too close to the 8 ball. He should just slide past it, to be honest, and have a choice of middle or corner. That's perfect. Good shot. That's where the bit of slide helped. He just pushed it over to the left.
Yeah, I mean, you're better just to go with it, not try and fight your way against it sometimes. Well, it's taken him 4 frames, but it's got a frame on the board, which is all that matters to Phil Harrison. Now just 2 frames behind. Karl leads by 3 frames to 1.
Yeah, it's important to get that frame on the board. I think 4-0 would be in a little bit of trouble. I'm not saying he couldn't come back, but he would be more concerned at 4-1, certainly 3-1, knowing that he says break as well in the next frame. So he'd be thinking, if I can just do a break and clear, all of a sudden I'm right back at him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with that thing. If you never settle until you get your first frame. I mean, it sort of sounds like it shouldn't really matter in a best of 19, but it's so true. You just, for some reason, once you've got one, you just feel, oh, I'll get several more now.
Yeah, it's just knowing that you've done your work, you potted your first finish, and you relax a little bit. You feel like you're in. It's like if you're playing the team game. Your first game, you're probably more nervous than you would be in the last game, just because you haven't got used to the table, you haven't got into the match.
Yeah, well, I think anybody that does well in the team format here is a good pressure player, because it's such a tricky format. You get 1, maybe 2 frames in front of the TV cameras. You've just got to get it right the first time.
Another look at the cut break. Trying to get one in the middle. Both of them just missed the middle.
Yeah, he tried with more pace there. That was noticeably faster than the first break he tried in the match.
Yeah, he's just trying to get the pace of the table. He hasn't quite got it yet, but he is trying to make a ball in the middle. See, the reds have come out nice. There's just one red, which is near to the cue ball. You can see the yellow's in the way of it. But other than that, if you went the yellows, you've got the similar problem with the yellow above the other red, so that's why he chose the yellows. He thinks he can slide the cue ball in that area and play it off the red in the middle, or play the one below the red, bring the cue ball back up, open that area. So it's just about positional play now. Shouldn't really be any tricky pot, just about working the cue ball.
Yeah, it's all about those 2 on the right hand side.
Yeah, if he's on, he can just drop this one in and just dolly the one in the middle next. So he's got the choice of playing off the red or direct, depending on which angle he leaves himself. But it's a big frame for Karl, this one, after he's let the last one slip. He won't want any negatives coming into his mind.
No, he wants to send a message. He doesn't want to be giving Phil any easy frames.
And now he's got the choice. Pot it clean or off the red. If he plays it off the red, he just needs to be careful where the red ball goes. It's trailing up towards the yellow ball.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you'd probably prefer to play it off the red ordinarily, but the red is going to get very close to that yellow.
See, he's looking what point of the red he wants to contact. It is missable, this. It's not a gimme. Just scraped in. Good positional shot played.
Yeah, I think it was better to play that and play it positively. The other option of just dropping it in slow didn't afford as good position. I think he's done the right thing there.
The only thing is that red now has just made that area at the top a little bit congested, so I'll need a good cue ball. I have to draw the cue ball. Oh, he's got it off. He obviously thought it was going to go close. You'd see him queuing up.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he hoped it wouldn't go off rather than anything.
Yeah, I mean, you watch that and that's more reminiscent of a local league than a world championship. But you can understand the cue ball was close to the cushion. He was trying to hit it as thin as he could and just come this side of the middle pocket.
He didn't have any shot, and it makes a difference which side of the pocket you pot the ball in as well. And I think he was just hoping that he wouldn't go that close He didn't look an obvious enough, but
No, I thought he could just hit it thin enough to come this side of the middle pocket.
yet again, you look at Phil, not a lot to do here. He'll be such a relieved man because really he should be 5-0 down.
Yeah, we'll see plenty of this over the course of the next 2 days, but this immensely frustrating thing where you do the difficult work and pot the more difficult early ones, and then you leave your opponent a clear table to clear up.
It's important to get your session score as it should be. You know, you've got to get. It's like in a football match. If you don't get your goals in, the other team come back and bite you. And it's the same at pool. You've got to take your opportunities and put the other guy under pressure. And you lose one frame, it works as two because you've got to win another frame back. He's got one on the board and you've lost one.
Yeah, I mean, Karl will be sitting there pleased to be 3 up in any event, but thinking that he could have been 5 up, frankly. He has had a chance in all the frames.
And for Phil, he hasn't really had to do a lot. He's played the right shots, that's all I would say for Phil. He hasn't had to take a finish out as such, he's just played a match play pool and just got away. I don't know why Karl's looks upset or something, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to start that. I wouldn't say he's been the better of the players in the sense Phil's played badly, but Karl has played most of the good, difficult shots so far. And as you say, Phil's been left the easier ones to mop up.
I think something must have happened out in the arena there because he's not the sort of player that moans like that in his seat. I think something's happened and he was just reacting to it.
Yes, I think he'll have a decent amount of support in the crowd. I don't imagine anyone will be barracking him from the crowd, but maybe just a distraction. Well, 2 pretty simple clearances in the end for Phil Harrison. Allows him to get back into the match. Karl just ahead by the 1 frame now.
Yeah, a bit frustrated. He's scratching his head.
Yeah, I mean, it is a head scratcher, isn't it? He's thinking, how have I gone in off there?
He looked in perfect position when he played the ball and off the ball in the middle. But obviously he had a bit more angle than we thought. It is frustrating when you can only play that shot. I mean, he had no other shot. It's not as if he could play another ball. He couldn't play anything with the cue ball because the cue ball was on the rail. So it was just a case of pop the ball and just hope you don't run off the middle. Yeah,
I mean, it makes you look a bit silly when you do, but it's not like he wasn't aware that was a possibility. He just thought he could avoid it.
It only just went in as well. He just caught the knuckle. So I think if he caught a little bit further, a thinner pot, he might have just got away with this. Give you the rundown of Phil's way to the semi-final. In the last 32, he beat Robert Warren 8 frames to 4. And in the last 16, he beat Neil Davey 8-1. And then a nail biter 9-8. And the last 8 against Stephen Dempsey. And Stephen missed a good opportunity in that one, Mark. He played a really good double. He had a black, which he would probably pop 9 out of 10, but probably not under those circumstances. All the Irish had cheered the big double and then everybody went quiet. And then you've got to cue the ball in.
Yeah, the Irish are a team that like to vocalise their opinions on a match.
Yeah, we've all been there when it's just goes quiet. You think, I've got to pop this ball.
Yeah. It's a few eye-catching matches there. He's worked his way through 2 very good English players. First off, 8-1 against Neil Davey. Neil Davey is not a poor player by any means. That's a big scoreline. And Stephen Dempsey, former European champion. Tough task, as well as the scoreline proves in the end.
You look at Karl Sutton in his last 32. He beat Dylan Leary 8-2. And then he went on to beat Declan Huff 8-3. And then the big one, Mick Hill 9-5.
Yeah, and that must give him a lot of confidence. Mick Hill is one of those names that's so far up in lights that, not that Karl would have been scared to beat him, and I'm sure he's beaten him before, but just in this context, in this tournament, it's such a big result.
Well, I saw most of that match, and Karl played really well. Mick didn't play to the level he normally plays at, but you can't take that away from Karl. He just took his chances and played really well.
Yeah, Mick last year was so imperious, particularly once he gets to the bigger table. Such a fluent potter that he loves all the extra space. As you say, you can't take anything away from Karl with that result. Can have taken himself off Dylan Leary's Christmas card list. He also beat him to win the European Championships this year.
Well, he'll be glad to see there was a ball over that pocket when he broke, because the cue ball was trailing straight and off.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real saving grace, that. It hasn't turned out too bad in the end.
Yeah, he's probably going to go the red balls just for the sheer fact that the reds are around the 8 ball. And also there's not an easy starter on the yellows.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure he can even fuss a yellow even if he wanted to.
He looks a bit more happy there, Phil.
He seemed in good spirits. I was talking to him before the match. He seemed happy and relaxed at the prospect of going out there. No obvious signs of nerves.
The only thing I worry about if I'm playing a match, if I've won matches or winning frames where the other guys sort of give me the frames, you don't really know where you're at yourself, because it's just a matter of making hay while the sun shines on their shots, really. You just want to get in there first and know that you're playing well, and again, Karl's just missed.
Yeah, that was a surprise miss. Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely right. And there's also a degree of pride in performance. I mean, Phil's experienced enough that I think primarily all he really cares about is winning, but you also, in front of a crowd like this, want to put on a performance. You don't just want it to look like you're being left the last half dozen balls each time.
I just worry if the other guy does start to play, I'm ready to play, and if all you've done is just roll 7 balls in the black and you haven't really had to do anything,
Yeah.
you've not really done anything, really.
But I think he'll take a lot of heart from that miss from we've just seen from Karl or Phil Harrison, because that's the first sign. Karl's let a couple of frames slip, but
That's a poor shot.
that was the most careless. But goodness, he's overcut that by a long
Well,
way.
I think my Karl miss, I think he was trying to hold the cue ball, so he's like trying to maintain position. So that's why he missed the ball in the middle. And with Phil's there, I think total misjudgment. He overcut the shot. And
Yeah,
gave
I
an
think he was trying to hit it on the thin-ish side for position, but it didn't need to hit it anywhere near as thin as that.
So you can see Karl's got an opportunity now. Red does go into the right centre. A little check at the time. Yeah, he's just lost his way a little bit, Karl.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tricky angle, but it didn't get terribly close to the pocket.
Yeah, he needs to regroup before he lets Phil become the monster that he normally is.
Yeah, I mean, Karl doesn't want to see a 3-all scoreline here. Like, having got 3-0 up, you feel like you've wasted all that hard work if it's suddenly 3-all again.
I think with these experiences, the other way around, I think Phil would have been 5-0 up. Where Karl just a little bit inexperienced at this tournament at this stage.
Well, I think we'll put that down as a genuine head shake. Normally he does that and then is in
He's
prime position.
He's plumb. Absolutely plumb. He just wants to hit the red and the black here rather than just the black, because if he hits a black, he could end up with no shot apart from a double. He's just hit the red. Now he's opened the pocket, so be pleased that the 8 ball now goes in a choice of probably 3 pockets.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd have to be happy with that shot, really. The white could have run safe as well if it had gone any further, but it's turned out pretty nice.
Yeah. You've got the choice to come back in the area as well again if you want to. Oh, what's he off? What's he off?
Wow.
Oh, it's careless. I think he thought he's either played position on the one on the rail, which I'm not sure if he did, or he's played to flick off the edge of the red with the pace that he's played it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been a bad shot, actually, to play position on the yellow over the right-hand side. I thought that's what he was trying to do, but you can't afford to flirt with the middle pocket.
Just a misjudgment, and he'll be thinking, really, I should be 3-all now. I've got him under pressure, and I've let the pressure cooker off.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great opportunity for Karl now. This was starting to look a bit messy, and now suddenly he's got 2 shots and the ball's open.
Oh dear, Karl.
Goodness. Well, you don't often see that. He's played 3 of the worst shots you'll ever see into two middle pockets the last three.
I just wonder if the table's rolling because he's played two shots exactly the same and he's missed it exactly the same. So you wouldn't think cue ball in hand right behind it.
No, I mean, how many times is he going to miss with ball in hand to the middle pocket?
That can be his only excuse, that he's missed exactly the same shot twice.
Well, I'm sure the table fitter will take a look at that at the mid-session interval.
I could be wrong, Mark, but I'm just thinking to
Well,
miss the same shot twice.
Well, you almost wonder as well with Phil's shot. It seemed so careless. I mean, I guess he'd overhit it as well, but
he's in trouble now. He needs to probably leave the arena after this frame, just go sort his head out and come back in.
yeah, I mean, it starts to get just a little bit embarrassing. I mean, there's no need for embarrassment. He's played well so far, but you just start thinking everyone's wondering what I'm doing.
I don't think he's embarrassed. I just think he just needs to regroup. I think he's been a little bit hoarse on him there, but it's just settled. He needs to settle more. He needs to get himself back together.
I think this is starting to become a really important frame as well. Whoever wins this, it's going to settle them down, whereas whoever loses is going to be pretty frustrated with what they've done.
Well, Phil's now perhaps a bit thin on this yellow ball, so he's going to be in the lap of the gods, where the yellow, cause he's going to play the breakout shot. He doesn't want to flip the edge of it and go close to the in-off in the other middle. And on the other side, he doesn't want to sit too hard and knock it to the top cushion.
No, he's going to be trusting to lucky. It's going to be hard to control the pace he's going to need to play.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder than he would have liked. He's going to have to screw off the side rail now, flirt with the other middle bag.
And this is the first shot like this he's had to play. He's mostly just been rolling things in so far. It's the first. He's got to really get down, key this properly.
Yeah, and he's got to get the pace right, because if he gets too much in it, he could come too far and end up on the side cushion. And if he doesn't get enough in it, could go off the middle. So yeah, he's played it well. He took that danger out by leaving himself a shot. That's his thought. Don't want to be anything silly. Don't want to be trying to get on it too good.
So big black though, I don't think quite see the whole pocket from the way he was queuing up there.
Yeah, it's not so bad if you miss it cushion side, because it go off the red. But if you hit the red, you think it won't go. So that's why he's dropped it dead weight. Yeah, he's hit the cushion. It's gone in. Good black.
Well, in the end, a good clearance from Phil Harrison, but that really went back and forth. Could have been anyone's frame. And from having been 3-0 down, he'll be very relieved, Phil, to see the scores tied at 3 apiece.
You see Karl talking to himself. He needs to just try and just get out of that moment that he's in. You know, he's 3-all. He's not 3-0 down or 6-0 down. He's banging the match.
Yeah, I'm with you as well about leaving the arena. I think I'd have popped out there just to regroup for a moment.
Yeah, my cue would have been straight on the table. I would have been gone. Just wash your face, anything, just to keep yourself a G up, really. Instead of sitting there thinking, what the heck have I just done? See all the England boys there watching.
You're playing later on, of course, your England team.
Yeah, big match against the Aussies. We had a great match with them in the group. We were 9-5 down. Come back and won 12-9, which we needed to do, because otherwise we would have been in the playoffs. So we beat them. Then we needed a cricket score against Algeria. We beat them 21-0, and I think we probably needed 21-1 to get through. So
yeah, I was speaking to Gavin Lomax about it last night, and when he said 21-0, I thought he was joking. It seems such an unlikely score against. I mean, regardless of who you're playing,
we were lucky because when we played them, we knew what we had to do, so everybody was behind each other. Whereas if you'd have played them in the group earlier on, you might not have got that scoreline. You probably would have been a bit, happy, joking about. But it was played as a proper match where we were like trying our hardest to. Every frame was like a frame closer to getting to the semis.
Yeah, that's a big result. So how it works is the top two teams go through automatically, and the next ones play off. So it's a big thing to get straight into the semi.
Yeah, it did help that they missed a few blacks for us.
That always helps. Don't think there's any substitute for that, whatever standard you're playing. So it's the man in form in this match at the moment, Phil Harrison, steps up in frame 7. Looks like he's trying a different break.
Oh dear.
Well, different break, same result.
There was no power in it, really. He sort of hopped the pack open, really. Cue ball jumped. And balls didn't split.
Yes, I mean, that's the kind of break you normally play if you're going to hit it hard. If you're going to play it more gently, you're probably better with a cut break.
I think he should stay with a cut break, because when he gets it working, it's good.
And I don't think 3 is enough of a test, just because the last couple haven't gone brilliantly. I don't think that's any reason to think it's not going to work at all.
What I would do if I was him, I'd swap to the other side. I'd still play the cut break, but from the other side. That's what I do. If the table doesn't break a certain way, change to the other side. It's the same shot, but the balls just break a little different.
Yeah, some players are very quick to do that. Some, because the one thing that's different is that on one side you have your hand on the cushion sometimes, and the other sometimes on the table. It just slightly changes the way you stand. Some people feel more or less comfortable.
If I'm breaking the front ball, I feel comfortable. I always play at the same place. That's what I'm used to. But for the cut break, you don't need to. It's only a little punt to the side cushion. It's a good shot.
Yeah, that is a good shot, because playing with check side there, we've seen him try with side off the cushions earlier on, which didn't work so well, but he got hold of that well.
It's quite funny because both players keep like moaning and sighing to themselves.
Yes.
So I don't think both of them are pleased at the minute, but 3-3, they're both in the match.
Yes, if you were their mind coach, I think you might be saying to both of them that being 3-3 against the other is quite a good result, given the way things have gone.
Yeah. Certainly Phil will be the happier of the two, because in reality he should be 6-2 down. I think the fair score would be in this session. I think Karl will take down the middle now.
Yes, it's looking better from Karl. I think it's helped to have... He's been able to punch a few in, rather than... He's so far been dropping slow ones in the middle. He'd be happy to carry on playing things a little bit firmer.
Yeah, you just get to the bottom cushion here, then you can just float up past the yellows. Needs to make sure of this one. It's better. Now just a bit of control now. You can either come behind the yellows or screw back out into the middle of the table, whichever he feels comfortable with. Needs to roll a bit. It's going to be stretching, but he's just got to draw the cue ball back anywhere close to where he is, and between his head and his hands, he's happy. He's a bit shorter than he would have liked, so test just to see if he sorted himself out.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been missing this earlier on in the match, but given what's happened in the last 3 frames.
That's a good black.
Oh, that's a good clearance all round. He didn't want to find himself behind, having been ahead so much early on.
Good to see you stop the rot, because we want a good match. We don't want anybody letting it slip.
No, and I think all the neutrals would have predicted this to be a very good quality match. I mean, I think actually the second semi-final has the potential to be as well, but these are the 2 big-name players coming into it. These will be the ones everyone's queuing up to
These
see.
are what they say, they're tried and tested. They've played an international pool for many, many years, where the 2 qualifiers are... I mean, I don't know a lot about Richard King. I know he's from a snooker background. He's played on the tour, either tour for a few years. And Sean Chipperfield, I know quite a bit about him. He's a fantastic player, plays quite a bit of snooker. If I had to pick between the 2, I'd have to say Sean, because every match he's played, he's blitzed people in about 40 minutes.
He's an exceptional potter. I've played him a 9-ball before. He just runs around the table, smashing them in. You barely think you're in the match, and he's cleared up.
See the sponsor there, Aramith. Yeah, be interested to watch that match, because if he does get on a roll, he's unstoppable. He's amazing to watch.
Yeah, and he'll have it done in no time. So, our referee, Sasha Gauchi, struggling to get the ball set up here.
He frightens a lot of opponents, Sean Chipperfield, because he just runs around, and before you know it, he's one of them players, if he gets on a roll, you don't want to play him, but if he's missing a few, you don't mind so much because you get a few cheap ones.
No, he's also one of those players that plays exceptionally fast without really looking like he's rushing. He sort of looks quite composed, like he's not trying to play fast, but just spends no time looking at anything.
It's a sponsor's dream because you love people playing fast like that, like a Ronnie effect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've played him a couple of times over the years. I've expected he might well move on and end up doing something. No surprise to see him there, but still, he was a qualifier for this, so nice story that he should get through. Wow, where's this white going? Oh, for a moment, that looked a really good break, but it's not a good result.
It is a really good break, but
Not for him.
not for him. He's a little bit unlucky there because it's like come off the side cushion and just slipped over to the side.
Yeah, you can blame yourself when you go straight in, but having hit a cushion like that is...
You see Jack Popel, Dave Fernandez, Shane Thompson, all in Karl's corner.
Gavin Lomax behind them.
Chris Day at the front. You might be tempted to pop the red and just screw into the yellow near the blue spot, which opens up that red, knowing full well he's going to be on the red in the right hand corner.
Yeah, it's a fairly risk-free opportunity if you had wanted to go for that.
I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't, because I don't think it goes in any pockets. I mean, if you're really thin on it, and you could take it in the middle, but it's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, just I suppose maybe he was thinking there was a risk of...
He might be playing the cannon this shot into the yellow. So I don't like the way he's gone about that. I think he had a free go first go. Pot it, stun up into the yellow, then the work's done.
Yeah, well, I think you rather move the yellow there, because if you knock the yellow safe, it doesn't matter. Whereas if you play it that way around and you knock the red safe, it's a lot worse.
But by playing the way I said, is he could still do what he's just done.
Yeah.
He could take the one to the top right and leave the angle to play exactly the same shot. But he's still there. It's just personal preference, really. Just the way I see it. A little bit more work this way. Doesn't want to roll too much.
No, that would be
Shake
to have ended
the
up
head.
behind the black there would be a terrible result.
Well, he's now got to pot I mean, he should pot it, but a harder ball they should have potted. They should have to pot, and the cue ball's running away. It just goes to show, man, they're not thinking straight at the minute, I don't think.
No, I mean, he may well still go on to clear this up, but he's turning what could have been a really simple clearance into quite a tricky one, especially with ball in hand.
Yeah.
He was plumb in the first shot. Even now he's gone a little bit further than he wanted to there.
I mean, ideally, he'd like the red into the right and the centre and just drop that in for position on the 8 as his last ball. I think he'd like to put the one in the top right-hand corner and float underneath the yellow. I'm not sure if he's got the angle to do that though. Or just screw down and then avoid the yellow. So now he's going to have to take the other red, which he would probably prefer this one to be his last ball. So he's going to have to play a good positional shot on his last red.
Yeah, these reds are simple enough, but it's not going to be the most straightforward shot. This is something you don't see very much from Phil. He's normally one of those players that when he's in the balls just makes it look like he's just rolling everything in and it's a really simple clearance. He's just made this look a little bit more difficult than he needed to.
Well, he's going to be running around 2, maybe 3 cushions here.
Well, Karl's keeping a poker face, but I think he'll be hoping that this positional shot goes astray.
It's all about the pace. Doesn't want to flip the yellow. Has he got away with it? I think he has. Quite fortunate there.
Yeah, that could have gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, just a little bit ragging into it at the minute.
Well, I don't know. Is he looking at a double then?
It's hard to tell from more camera.
That
It
suggests you
looks
can't
like
see enough to put.
he's one of the best doublers in the game, so knowing Phil, he will get it if he's playing the double. There's probably him and Adam Davis, who are the best doublers I've certainly seen. He is playing the double, so he hasn't been lucky. No. Well, a big opportunity now for Karl to, as long as that 8 ball isn't glued to the cushion, which I don't think it is, he's going to have a great chance to take a 2-frame lead again. Surprised Phil didn't punch out there, because they slide if you roll them, certainly on this.
Yeah, there wasn't a great advantage to playing that slowly. That was a clearance. It was just getting away from him.
All the way, from the very first shot, I thought. But I think that's just how he's thinking. I don't think he's thinking clearly. We've all been there. I'm trying not to be critical of him, because it's the first match on an 8-foot table, different speed of cloth. If he gets through this match, I'm sure he'll be better.
Yeah, I mean, we can prefix everything we say with how well these players have done to get here and how good they are. You're always somewhat splitting hairs when you're critical of them, but shots like that won't help.
You can't defend that one.
Well, he's not liking that middle pocket, is he? That was a different sort of shot, but 3 shots.
Certainly not his friend, and it certainly didn't roll off.
No. Well,
the good news is I don't think it goes.
No, I think Phil's entitled to shake his head here. He could so easily have been on this black.
And the other good news is he's knocked another yellow from Phil's point of view. But I think Phil knows he cannot control anything here. He'll be second favourite, and the only benefit he's got is the pressure of knowing the black's over the pocket. What's he playing here? He's played the double off that. It's good effort. He's tried to double the black into the other middle off the knuckle.
I mean, actually, any shot where you get the black out has some merit. I mean, not that he's by any means sure of getting a shot at it, but Karl has got a bit to do.
Karl just needs to think now, because that yellow that he's nearest to there was a goalkeeper. What I mean by that is if he potted the one in the middle and got low, he could have freed one out and just dropped the white on the side cushion and had him in trouble. Where now, I think he's going all guns blazing, and he's either going to take it in the corner or the middle and try and split one of these two balls off the cushion. Low percentage.
Well, it would be preferable to play it in the corner from the positional point of view, but can he see enough of it?
Yeah, you can play in either, but he needs to be lucky with the cannons. And he hasn't.
No, he wanted to hit much fuller than that, or this side of it.
Again, to me, it's just the wrong choice of shot. He'll just park the cue ball on the bottom cushion now and hope. I mean, this is probably a 2 and 10 shot he's looking at.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be thinking about this, does he?
I think I'd be doubling the yellow out, trying to hide the cue ball behind the yellow and make Phil put on all black. Wow, fantastic shot.
Well, it's further off the cushion than we thought. I did not for a moment think that was him.
From our angle, it looked a 2 and 10, but he played it like a 9 out of 10. So, apologies to Karl. What a great shot that was. Perfect. And it's the other middle, so he should be okay.
Yes, well, although he's missed one in the other. Well, in fact, maybe mid the corner now.
Yeah, I think he'll still take the middle. Oh, he's going your option, the corner.
I don't blame him for that. I just think a more positive shot, given he's missed them playing a few slow into the middle. So
yeah, middles are not his friend.
No.
So he has taken that 2-frame lead again, albeit through the back door on that frame.
Yeah, I think he'll be a lot happier now. He's guaranteed to have a lead at the mid-session interval. One more frame to play beforehand.
See Rich Walton trying to give Phil advice. It's probably just to settle him down a bit. I know they are very good friends. I never particularly like that myself. I like to be left alone. And if I want to talk to somebody, I tend to talk to them, but I don't think it's a big help. There's not a lot that he could give advice to Phil to, really, because he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. And if he doesn't want to listen, I'm sure he can turn his aid off.
So a fairly different style of play, Rich Walton. He's a guy that goes for pretty much any ball he can see. Phil Harrison a bit more measured.
Yeah, similar on the other side for Karl Sutton, he's got like his mates around him. It might help him. He might prefer to be more relaxed out there. But on with the ninth frame.
Well, I didn't hit it that hard. It didn't feel like he got a great connection with the pack, but a ball's gone down, and actually the split's not so bad.
This is best split so far, isn't it? Not sure he might be forced to take the yellow over the top pocket. Not sure there's anything else other than a plant to the middle. The red might slide under. Sorry, the yellow might slide under the 8 ball. Not sure if that goes. And you've also got a yellow between. He's having a quick look at that now, see if it will go. And you've got a yellow ball in between the 8 and the red, which looks like it does go as well. So it's a good opportunity here for Phil. I think he would like to keep the one over the top pocket as a bit of an insurance policy, but
Yeah, definitely. But equally, he doesn't want to risk. He needs to possible to be on yellows and doesn't want to risk turning the table over.
I think he should pot that one. Really, unless that goes, might slide in. Or is it the plant? Played the plant. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. It was a simple enough plant. He could play it with confidence.
And like I said, he's got the insurance of the ball over the pocket. I'm not sure if he's got the whole pocket, but certainly the red won't go. So this is the last frame before the interval, and it's a big frame for both players. Phil wouldn't want to be 6-3 down.
I've got some things to do, so if you need...
No, he wouldn't. Having worked hard to get back into it at 3-all, he looked like he had the upper hand at one point.
I think for Karl, 6-3 is a minimum he'd want from this session. The chances he's had, the control he's had of the match.
Yeah, I think if he comes out 6-3, he'll be happy and will be able to forget that slightly unfortunate run of 3 in the middle. But if it's only 5-4, he'll be ruining a few chances.
It'll be the way Phil will be happy to think, well,
Yeah.
I've dodged a bullet there, 5-4, I'm still in the match. But looking at the frame, it's Phil who is a favourite at the minute.
Yes, because he's got that top pocket tied up. He's got the luxury of being able to get this yellow out.
It wouldn't surprise me here if Karl just dropped the red over this pocket now, so have a ball over both pockets. That's my suggestion. Just try and gain yourself a bit of time.
Yeah, he needs to do something to tighten the frame up. He doesn't want to just give Phil free shots at developing his balls.
As long as he doesn't pot the ball, I think he's just about got it covered. I'm not 100% certain, but
Well, it's blocking those yellows. I don't know that it would stop the black if you needed it for.
well, that's the important one.
Yeah.
You can get the others in other pockets, but the black is a key ball with me on the bottom cushion.
I feel like that black probably would slide under it.
And if he hasn't got the bag, it's careless, because if he has got the pocket, he can move the red away from the top corner where the two yellows are with no pressure at all. And if he hasn't got the pocket, one, he's give Phil a chance to go for the finish now, and two, he's lost an opportunity and he's still a shot behind. Oh, he's played the plant. I'm not sure he's put it into a plant.
No, it was good thinking getting the red out of the way, but if these are now pointing at the jaw, this will be awkward. Hard to tell. It may just slide in.
Well, the one thing he doesn't want to do is just try and drop it over the pocket, and it slides in and drops in. He gets no control. I mean, I think if he plays a plant direct, it won't go with pace. So he could just be clipping off the one near the middle and drop the white ball down. Yeah, might be able to make it. I thought it might just go off the knuckle. I don't think he's too pleased with that. And that was a danger. That's why I think I would have clipped off the one by the middle and dropped the cue ball into the gap of the two balls and pushed them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in a bad position, but he's got less control. He's got to be a lot more careful than he did a minute ago.
Well, he just knew that if he would have played the plant direct hard to try and come back up the table, it would have rattled. But playing it soft, the pocket's played big. So now he's got to go. Not sure. Not sure, really. I think he just gives Karl a chance just to roll this one back over the pocket to make sure he gets a bag, and then next time he moves the red out. So red's a favourite for me. Covers a pocket here. Doesn't want it to drop in. That's better. If he'd have played that the first time, that shot could have been freeing the red away.
Well, I was going to say exactly that. To have had to take two shots just to cover the pocket from both from fairly easy positions is a bit frustrating.
That's where Keith Brewer was always the best at covering a pocket. He was always a shot ahead of you because he'd cover that pocket first time. Certainly under the old EPA rules, he just had a knack to get that bag, and that made him one shot ahead of most players every time.
I mean, I'm not saying Karl was careless there, but I think there's a tendency when it's such a simple shot and you're only in inverted commas covering the pocket, you perhaps don't take it quite as seriously as if it was a more difficult pot. But you absolutely need to.
So he needs to make his mind up. He's coming up to the
15
60 seconds. It's a good shot. Very good shot.
Yeah, that's a very clever shot. He knows he's just causing Karl trouble by tying those reds up, buys himself some time.
And Karl's only worries if the them yellows will go past the red over the pocket. If he is worried about that, then he'll just put the red further over. If he isn't concerned about that, he'll just break the reds out. It does look like the yellow will pass into the bottom right hand corner. So he's just going to make sure he gets that pocket completely, doesn't want to overhit it. Yeah, it's a good shot. Yeah, he's got Phil in all sorts of trouble here. There'll come a point where I think Phil will have to go. If he waits too long.
Yeah, it just kind of gets worse. You think you've got time, and then yeah.
There's Rob Warren chewing his phone. One of Phil's victims in this tournament. 8-4 in the last 32. I think Rob was 4-1 up in that match.
Yeah, he'd have been disappointed with that because it'd be one of the players that would have fancied having a decent run in this tournament. But then I imagine your whole England team were fancying their chances at the start.
Yeah, there's lots of bullets to be dodged, as they say. Unfortunately for me, mine was McGill.
Yeah, that's that's a tricky bullet to dodge.
It's a good shot.
Yeah, important he did that before Karl moved those two reds out. He knows at the moment he's got a little bit more time.
I think he's just at the minute with that shot, one shot ahead.
Yeah, Karl's got 2 visits, but is that going to be enough? He's got 2 problems at the moment.
He's got to make sure he does pop this one into his favourite middle pocket.
That's better. First ball is potted in there a few frame.
He's just got to be careful now when he develops these. He's going to be kicking him out. I'll probably play the outside of the 2 reds. I'd be open to fluke one.
Yeah, it would be very helpful to have the extra visit. I think he was trying to get just the cue ball just a bit further over to the right because it's still not.
He's Playing the inside one of the two. I think I
Still
would have
not
played the
simplest
outside
position,
one.
is it?
The outside one, you might be able to make the plant in the bottom corner. That's the one I prefer to go at it that way. That's what he's doing. Could get one down his bottom corner. It's coming down. Oh dear. That's unlucky. Really unlucky.
Yeah, that's not the bottom pocket you were talking about. It's not the ball he wanted to put.
And he's left a big pocket as well. So for Phil, he's been let off. But it was a good frame, this one. It could have gone either way. Down to Lady, look how it was decided. Needs to stop. So Phil's got 2 visits. Probably left himself a little bit straight on the yellow ball. Should be able to just top it through a little bit. Just like that. And waste his 2 visits on the 8 ball. So, gentle little clip off the 8 ball. And that'll be the black into the bottom right hand corner. And a get out of jail free card in the session. So 5-4 in the first session.
Well, it was Karl Sutton that got off to the better start, winning the first 3 frames. It looked like he could run away with it, but Phil pegs him back, and then I think Lee probably 5-4 down. It's actually Phil Harrison that'll be happier there.
Phil will be over the moon to be 5-4 because really it should be 7-2, 6-3 scoreline. So Karl will be kicking himself, but he's still got the lead. He needs to stay positive and think, well, I've got the lead. I'm 5-4 up. I would have taken down at the start of the match. Forget what's gone on. I'll be happy I've got the lead.
Do you think the mid-session interval helped? Good chance for him to go out, reset his mind?
I think it'll help both players, but possibly Karl more than Phil, because Phil will be thinking, well, I've got away with that session, and Karl will be thinking, well, you know, okay, I've got time to get myself back together and try and get the Q arm going.
Well, from the neutral's point of view, the match nicely poised when we come back. The players are going out for a 10 or 15 minute break. We'll be back when they do. So, players back in the arena. I think, in a way, although Karl Sutton's 5-4 up, he'll be slightly ruining some of those chances, but still, at least he gets the opportunity to regroup. For Phil Harrison, what could have been a tricky start got a lot better. 3-0 down, ground his way back into the match. Only the one frame behind. Pleased to be joined in the commentary box for the second half by Sean Baker. How do you see this going for the next bit?
Well, it's been an interesting first half there. Karl certainly got out the blocks very quickly, 3-0 up, and looked to be playing really well. And he just lost his way a little bit. There's a couple of frames he could have won there. Just spoke to him at the interval, and he said before the match, obviously 5-4 up, he'd have taken either 5-4 up or 5-4 down. But obviously, as that pans out, he's thinking, well, I could have really been 6-3 or potentially 7-2 up. But it's still all to play for here. The number 6 seed, number 8 seed. Phil Harrison is just such a tough character to play against. Even if Karl gets to 9, in this race to 10, he's not going to be over the line. Phil Harrison absolutely digs in. He played Steve Dempsey the other night, and he looked dead and buried at one point, and Dempsey's actually missed a ball for the match. And Phil's held his nerve and taken the decider. So he's certainly not out of this match. I'm going to sit on the fence and say it really could go either way at this point.
It was good to see at the mid-session interval, both players looked quite relaxed. I think Karl saw the funny side of a couple of those misses early on. He didn't seem to be beating himself up about it too much.
No, I don't think Karl's that type of player. Happened to him. I thought it was a mistake there from Phil Harrison. I think he's missed there. He's missed the pot. And he's turned the table back over to Karl Sutton after the dry break. So, open table. Karl with not really an easy chance here. Neither suit looking particularly good. There's a little cluster of 2 yellows, 2 reds at the top of the table, which are awkward. But no, I refereed actually 2 of Karl's games, his last 32 and his last 16 match. And I was talking to him afterwards. I said, because Karl's always been a very positive, sometimes aggressive, and maybe overly aggressive at times, going for finishes that weren't really there. And I said, was it a deliberate ploy? Have you changed your game? And all he said is to me, I'm sort of thinking more about the game. Thinking more about shots rather than just getting down and potting the balls. He said, so I've probably slowed up a little bit. He said, but so it is that thinking side that's come more into it, and certainly paid off. Current European champion, great performance out in Nantes in France in February. Interesting, again, he beat Dylan Leary in that final. Oh, Phil's missed that yellow. He's looking there now. He's just looking. Has he miscued that slightly, or is there just a slight roll? It was suggested in the first half of the match there was a potential roll on the table, but neither player really said anything about the interval, so maybe just one of those shots. Like I say, Karl Sutton beat Dylan Leary in the European final, and he did the double over him. He's beaten him here in the last 32.
8-2 in the last 32, so
yeah,
obviously got the measure of him.
It was a comprehensive performance. Dylan didn't really do a lot wrong. Karl Sutton has played exceptionally well. And in his last 16 game, done the same thing as well. Played very, very well. But that was the match when I asked him, it really seemed noticeable that his game had changed. Like there was several times I thinking he's going to go here for a finish that isn't really there. And he didn't. He backed off. Played a safety, covered a pocket, and it did pay off.
I think it's either the curse or the benefit of getting older. Most people seem to become more measured as the years go past.
Well, it's interesting actually. You'll see that over the years if you watch the juniors play. As some of the youngsters come into the game as maybe 14, 15-year-old. And they're just knocking the balls in off the lampshades, it's like playing for fun. And then just slowly over the years, as they get maybe to the back end of the juniors into like the under-23 setup now, as maybe a 19, 20-year-old, the game does change. And again, I think it's they start thinking about the game more, they slow down and become more measured. And I think for most of them, it works. I mean, Giuseppe D'Imperio is a classic, example of that. That he was one of those. Well, none of them quite run round the table, but they certainly play in a very positive, very quick manner. And one or two have commented how Giuseppe's game now has just sort of slowed down a little bit, and it's certainly paid benefits for him. You know, under 23 world champion, European under 23 champion this year. I'm looking forward to the time when he really makes the step up. Oh, again, Phil there, his hands straight up. He's played that red far too thin. I just wonder, has he given Karl Sutton a chance here to pop the yellow and develop the other yellow out of there? Because if he has, it's a great opportunity in this 10th frame.
Yeah, I mean, that's two slow shots now that he doesn't seem happy with it. It's hard to tell whether he's annoyed with himself, whether he just flicked a bit of side on and it drifted across the table, or whether he feels it rolled off.
Again, I think the Karl of old would have been down, but it's obviously you can't see that yellow to develop the other, but you can get this one out of the way. He's got a hit cushion here. He's got a hit cushion. Black's just made it. Just trickled onto the bottom rail there. His heart would have been in his mouth a little bit as he's played that shot. Just judging the pace of this bigger table. Talking to some of the Australian players, they said that's probably one of the biggest things. It's not the size of the table that's going to cause them a problem. It's judging the pace. So Lee Kendling, the captain, who was in the commentary box the first half of this match, he's gone off now for their allocated practice time, England. And Australia will be doing the same in a couple of hours' time. All the players who get through to these live streamed final stages get some practice time on an 8-foot table.
A couple of our overseas viewers just asking for a bit of background about the two players. I know they'll be very familiar to our English viewers, but for those less so, Phil Harrison, former world champion, won this event in 2009, runner-up in 2011, a hatful of other quarter-final and semi-final appearances along the way. Former England team player, won multiple world titles in the team event as well. Karl Sutton, wouldn't quite say he's the next generation, but slightly younger than Phil Harrison, current England team player, also a multiple world champion in the team events. Reigning European champion, as you mentioned, he won in France a few months ago. Also won quite a few other titles along the way. Finalist the European Lions Tour to Australia a couple of years ago. 2010 Champion of Champions. Lots of other local singles events.
Yeah, he's been a little bit unlucky there. He's just tried to cover the gap that he's left in that corner pocket closest to us now with the other yellow, and it's dropped in. And just left himself slightly awkward now here because he has still got that one awkward red at the top of the table. He could sort of try and make this a little bit messier for Phil. Play the red and the yellow, play the yellow and the red that's sort of just in the top half of the table, and just try and nudge the red up into that area. But and that's the middle pocket he's had that little bit of trouble with in this match so far, but he's made it okay this time.
Yeah, it's important not to let that get to you. I don't think you really, there's only 6 pockets on the table, I don't think you seriously start worrying that one's unlucky, but equally if you keep missing the same type of shot, it does play on your mind next time you have cause to play one like it.
Yeah. And he has now taken that right-hand corner pocket. And, so he's keeping all the pressure on Phil Harrison here. It's a very cagey opening to the second half of this match.
Yeah, I thought he handled himself well on the tactical side of things, Karl. I think Phil would generally be regarded as the better tactical player, but Karl was more than the measure for him in the first session.
Phil's just looking here, potentially playing the tactical foul. Just got to make sure he doesn't leave the foul snooker. I think he should be all right there. I think he just had a little check that Karl would still be able to see the right-hand side of that yellow. It's in the middle of the table, and he can.
Yeah, It's one of those moments where you think you've got control of the pocket, and then suddenly, although Karl's got 2 shots here, he's not really loving life too much as he comes back to the table.
No, he's just weighing up now. You see, he's looking at playing the yellow full in the face. The red goes up to the baulk area. Can he somehow clear a path or get that yellow out?
Yeah, he's got 2 shots here, but he really wants to move both of the yellows on the first shot, otherwise he's still going to have the problem of that one tied up in the top right.
Well, has he been lucky there? Don't think he has, because he can see the one into the middle, but the yellow there, as you see, is tied up by that red to the right of it.
Yeah, this is tricky now. He can pot this one. I don't know if he's got the angle to. It'd be very tricky to force the white up and down the table to disturb it.
Yeah, he's into all sorts of trouble here now. Phil Harrison, I'm sure, is going to be coming back to the table shortly with a chance to level this match up at 5 frames all. See there, he's just attempted to. That's a good shot from Karl. He's covered that red going down into the corner pocket, but Phil can just develop that red out now, to be honest. And Karl's still going to be in some trouble where that yellow's finished at the top right-hand side of the table.
Yeah, it's a really awkward position having one lone yellow up there. There's no way of getting there. It's okay if you've got a couple of other boards you can come off, but with only the 2 left on the table, the options are pretty limited for Karl. I mean, Phil doesn't want to do anything careless here. He doesn't want to leave him a shot at the one at the top of the table if possible, but as you say, the priority is to get this red back into play. Just being careful there, he didn't want to risk cannoning into the yellow as he played that shot, which is why he couldn't do quite so much with the red, but happy just to get it into a possible position.
It looks like he's playing up and down here, try and knock the yellow in over that corner pocket. He's got to make sure. Yeah, he's made it's a legal shot. Yellow's hit the cushion after contact, but not really the result he was looking for. He was trying to get that yellow further down and block the pocket for the black.
Yeah, his only hope there really was if he got it such that the black wouldn't pot still. It wasn't enough just to hit it. He needs to apply some pressure to Phil. For Phil, the options here, he obviously wants to essentially be promoting balls into a better position, but he doesn't want to leave Karl a shot at that yellow to play a better version of the shot he's just trying. He can he see enough? No, he's not going to try the yellow at the table. He's going to go back for the cover again.
Well, I think he thought he'd overcut that because he got up straight away and he thought he may have potted it. But great shot there from Karl Sutton.
I'm slightly surprised Phil left him able to play that. It seemed like he could bring the white further down the table and leave it so that it was too thin to play that shot. So what Phil's thinking here is if he only leaves Karl a shot at this one yellow, he doesn't mind Karl potting this yellow at all. He knows that he's not going to be keen to do that.
Yeah, but Karl's looking at playing the tactical foul here and trying to take that yellow into the pocket and cover it. And Phil's then got 2 reds in that area. I'm not quite sure it goes though. There's a little look on Karl's face there, a little grimace, as if to say he's not sure, but I don't think he's got much else to try here. It looks like he's taking the pocket. You saw the body language of Phil Harrison there as he came away from his seat. So what can he do with his 2 visits?
Well, in two visits, that's put a very different complexion on the game. Phil had this absolutely locked up, and just that one slightly loose shot to allow Karl to cover the bottom right-hand corner pocket has led to this bad turn of events as far as he's concerned.
And I think Phil's now just looking to dab the red over and to cover the yellow completely. Now you could potentially move the other red out, just leaves the one bad ball in there that will kick out quite easily. Were he to get another 2 visits here? I'm surprised. I thought he might have brought that red out there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not sure how much value there is in this. I mean, it's not like Karl's going to accidentally just pot this yellow because it's all he can see.
Karl looking straight away. That red that Phil's brought down there, he's probably looking at getting it out of that area, so it's not going to cause him any problem with the black and the yellow. So again, little tactical battle ensues here. The Imperial Hotel in Blackpool. We're live and exclusive. Part of the hotel collection group, the Imperial Hotel. Say home of these championships now for 10 years.
Yeah, you and I have both spent a few summers up here. I'm still rather hoping to see some sunshine at some stage, but
Well,
still not been blessed with it.
I know you should have been here, Mark, at the back end of last week when I arrived. It was very nice, Thursday afternoon. Unfortunately, we were stuck inside and it was rather warm on Thursday afternoon and evening. The latter stages of the men's singles, last 32, last 16 matches. The sunshine, as you say, has deserted us again.
And of course, a big turnout over the weekend for the World Masters that you were organising.
Yeah, great event. Phil Harrison won the title again, the World Masters that he won 2 years ago. And almost 400 entries in the main event. We had 70 in the men's, in the seniors, and 70 in the ladies. Great events, and brings together all sorts of people, not just from around the globe, but around the country as well. And superb performance from Nick Bell, who got to the main final. It was unfortunate to come against Phil Harrison in brilliant form. 6-all. Nick looks firmly in the match. You get a couple of dry breaks, and unfortunately that was enough for Phil Harrison. 10-6 was the score. So super performance.
Yeah, that's a great thing with that kind of open format. Anybody can play anybody early on. You can get some surprise results getting through.
That's it, because there is the format of the redraw at 128, 64 and 32. And Tom Cousins, Adam Davis were unlucky enough to get drawn against each other. It was in the last 64 match. Well, it might have been the last 128 actually. Both former champions at this event, and that's the unfortunate thing. But it's a bit like the UK tour now. We have the open draw, so pretty much anybody can play anybody. And at the last event, it was the same thing. We had about 2 or 3 world champions out of the event before we'd even reached the last 64, and that's the appeal, for players. It's almost anybody can win a tour now. I mean, the better players will always be towards the latter end of the tour events, but there are more opportunities for the lesser known players, to either get to the final or actually win the event.
And also a reflection of the standard of play. It used to be that you felt you knew who most of the good players were, but now people turn up and you've never seen the guy before and he still runs several frames in a row.
Yeah. So the tactical battling continues here. Phil on the another set of 2 visits here, just slowly manoeuvring the balls round. And he's done the same thing. He's brought a couple of reds now down into this bottom right hand corner, just trying to make it awkward for Karl Sutton. I'm sure if the England captain Lee Kendall was here, he'd be loving this now. He's the master tactician.
Yeah, we've seen some good tacticians over the year. Keith Brewer, who won the seniors world title yet again the other day, one of the best of all time.
Oh, without a doubt. Karl's had enough of this. He's decided that he's going to knock one of Phil's reds in and just wonder whether he's given Phil half a chance here, though. The ball on the side rail, if it come down. The yellow looks to be deep in the jaws, but I've always seen one or two shots in this match where pockets look to have been covered and they haven't been. Phil having a good look at that yellow as he came past.
It's a slightly strange situation to be looking at here. A lot of people watching are probably a bit confused about what's going on. One of these strange tactical situations you sometimes get where the ball's covering a couple of the pockets. It's very hard for either player to do very much. Phil Harrison on the red balls. Sometimes you can even lose track of who's on what colour because people are playing deliberate fouls.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story about that, Mark. Several years ago, I was refereeing in the World Championships in a ladies' game, and they just continually played foul after foul after foul. And after they'd done it about a dozen times, and I just called a foul as I had been doing for several. And one of the players got down, finished the frame off, and about 10 minutes later was approached by one of the team managers and said, "Well, you sure that was a foul in that match?" And I said, "To be honest, I haven't got a clue." And I think it might have been suggested that I'd called a foul that when it wasn't, and the girl had won the frame, but it was one of the round robin matches, so it didn't particularly cost somebody a singles game or anything like that. But it can get very confusing if you're not careful. You're trying to concentrate on so much as a referee, and you're almost looking for a clue after a while. Has somebody got like a red logo or a yellow logo on the waistcoat or something like that, or if it's a team shirt, down at maybe Great Yarmouth. Fortunately, you don't get too many situations like this. We've got certainly testing our referee here, Sasha Gauci from Malta.
Yes, I was going to say we've relocated you to the commentary box because you can't tell the difference between the colours. I've placed you with a younger man at the table.
Yeah, I think I've been sacked from the refereeing at the World Championships. No, I mean it's. In fact, I never reffed here in the TV stages of the World Championships. The last time I reffed on the televised stages was at the Hilton in 2005. When Gareth Potts won one of his world titles. You see there, Phil's given the foul, and obviously he's given a foul snooker. But it's what Karl can do here, because the foul snooker rule is he can nominate a ball as his own ball for this first shot. But he's got the ball covered up the table. So I'm just wondering whether he's going to nominate the red that's by the black and just try and nudge the black over the pocket.
Well, yeah, I think he's got to do something down this end. No real merit to just passing the yellow out the other end.
No, he could nominate the red, not the yellow in, and he's not done anything. He's in a bad situation, so yeah, quite clearly there saying to the referee that he's nominating the red. He's looking at moving it away, is he? Yeah. Wonder now if he isn't going to play the red that's above the black, is he? I was thinking he's going to move that one out of the way.
He needs to cover the pocket. I'm slightly surprised he didn't do it using the red, because then it would have the added advantage the red would be tucked in there. Maybe he just didn't want to make the frame any more messy.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of conversation going on there between the two. There's certainly a... Phil had got a smile on his face there as he was coming to the table, so I think there's been a little bit of banter there between the two players.
So just once again to clarify the situation, Karl Sutton is on yellows, only got two balls to go, the yellow and the black, but can't really get to them at the moment. Phil Harrison is on the reds and has two shots, but can't really clear up because the yellow.
Has he potted the red? It's just gone high over the middle pocket. Because if he's potted that there, he's had a good chance where the cue ball finish up, maybe to kick that red out up the table and the other one.
Yeah, that would have made a big difference as it is. It may even have gone safe, that red. It's certainly not finished in the best position.
No, I think it's just asking the referee there, is the red frozen? Of course, if it is, you can't just lay onto it. He's got to hit the red, and then, as you see, the cue ball hit the rail anyway after the contact, so that's perfectly legal. It's a real cat and mouse game here. Just people manoeuvring balls into a position where they feel they're in taking the advantage, and the other player's trying to knock the ball back so they're disadvantaged again.
Yeah, I mean, Karl's going to have to play a foul here. There's no legal shot that he can play, so it's just deciding what foul. And didn't dare play that. Would have liked the red even closer, but didn't dare play it too hard. No point knocking the black in. He's just trying to... Basically, Phil is trying to tidy up the table and get the reds into possible positions, and Karl is trying to mess the table up and get them safe again.
And sort of talked about earlier in this frame, Phil Harrison is such a tough player. He just does not know when to give up. You know, he's been in this situation. He's been in far worse situations. He's been 8-3 in World Quarterfinals, first to 9. He's been 8-3 down and rescued the situation. So he knows exactly what it's all about.
No, he doesn't want that going safe. I was about to say, bar that ball, which is a little bit safer than it might be, Karl's got to start being quite careful here, because if he's going to give Phil 2 visits, which he is going to do because he can't play a legal shot, he doesn't want to leave him in a position where he can use the 1 to open the red up and then clear the rest up.
No, he's just looking at moving that. Oh, has he
He
hit that
doesn't
too
want
hard?
going in.
I think his heart will have been in his mouth a little bit then. That red's tracking up the table. I think
Well,
it's
that's a
just
fine
about
line between
contacted the other one.
Excellent shot. I mean, that's worked out so well now. You want
Yeah.
it as tight as possible, but yes, goodness, you don't want that going in.
I think it's still potential in a situation. Like you say, if this red net hadn't gone safe for Phil, if it had been in the middle of the table in a potable position, Phil could have been having a go at these. You see Karl opting not to return to his seat. He's stood way outside the TV arena. He's probably with our producer Anthony. Stood next to him looking at the screen rather than the actual action.
Seeking some tactical advice perhaps from our production team.
I haven't heard him talk before about the game. I'm not too sure. He needs to be taking advice from them. It's Lee Kendall he needs in his corner here. He's certainly holding his own. Again, opting just to... I don't think this is a bad thing, because, I mean, Lee would tell you he would always take 6 or 7 balls on the table over 1. So by removing some of Phil's reds here, probably feels him getting himself more of an advantage. This is one of these frames. Eventually, somebody's going to make a mistake, you know, and that's going to cost them. It's as simple as that. You'll referee so many frames like this. You'll see both players, you know, they'll play tactical. It's tactics, 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 and there's just one little mistake that costs the player the frame.
Well, for the last 5 or so minutes, I'd say it's been quite finely poised, but got to feel slipping away slightly from Phil Harrison. If Karl starts clearing these remaining loose reds up, his options are going down and down.
It depends where, if he was to do that, it depends where Karl left the cue ball. He'd be wanting to leave the cue ball to pop what Phil's, say, next 2 reds. He'd want to leave the cue ball down somewhere near the black is, so that Phil can't get in behind the 2 reds off the top rail, and because that's what will kick him out. Well, he's gone in off. Now.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that is the worst possible thing to do, because it's the only time that Phil can put the cue ball in the really perfect position to do something with it.
See, is that the mistake? Because he's looking now. Could he put the cue ball in that balk area and kick all of those 3 reds out together?
It's a kind of unnecessary mistake, that. He didn't need to be going anywhere near that pocket.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he was playing the red towards there anyway. Because if he'd have been trying to do what I suggested, he didn't want any more balls over that side.
No, I think that shot header might have been better, just not trying to do anything too expansive and just wait for a better opportunity.
Yeah, well, Phil's not looking to do this, but I think he's definitely going to be leaving himself an angle to kick those two reds out. He made the pot. Great effort there from Phil Harrison. You can't quite see how close the red is to the yellow, but it certainly looked very tight earlier on, particularly when the other red, you see there, it looks very, very close. But
yeah, I think originally it was okay, and then that when Karl put the second red there, it just gave it that little nudge.
Phil's actually looking, this is the shot he's going to play, so he feels it comes out and leaves the yellow there. There's no danger. And it's not worked out how he wanted. He definitely wanted both reds to be kicked out there.
Yeah, and it's fairly clear to see that Karl's going to win the frame if he gets back to the table with an open shot. So Phil is either going to have to cannon that red or play a double, the red that's on the right-hand side cushion. I mean, actually, it's still, although he's shaking his head, he has at least got a chance to go for the finish here. It could be worse.
The thing is, I think Lee Kendall said it in the early part of the match. Phil Harrison, along with Adam Davis, two of the best doublers in the game of 8-ball. I think that's what he's going to be having to do here. Leave himself a double on the red that's almost on the baulk line. Well, he's elected not to go for it.
Well, I must say, I'm slightly surprised by that.
The thing is, Karl Sutton, he can almost not fail to contact the yellow, and if he hits it at pace, it's going to come back out.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he's thinking there's some chance that if he doesn't get the right contact, he could end up snookered, but there's a pretty big window of opportunity to hit the black. I just feel it would have been better, at least if you have a double, you're not going to get it 100% of the time, but you're giving yourself the chance to win.
Yeah.
Though we've seen these cushions sliding a lot in the early part of the match, this isn't an absolute formality.
Well, that's desperately unlucky. He's hit it full in the face there. But again, the black is right over the hole, so any sort of contact on this black now.
Although middle pocket will clearly be in the way because he's halfway between the two.
Yeah, I think the only thing that makes this shot really awkward is the fact that he's in the jaw a little bit, and he's bridging. You see there.
Applying a little bit of side. There we are, made the angle.
Yeah, down goes the 8, and it's 6-4 now. Karl Sutton in this race to 10.
Well, it's not often you say Phil Harrison's made a tactical mistake, but I feel they're better to go for a double and have a 50-50 of winning the frame than be sure of leading.
Yeah, it was a very low percentage shot I think he's played there. Again, long frame, might have just lost his thinking, his thought process, if you like. Felt that the double wasn't there, I don't know. You see there, he's quite animated, talking to the crowd.
It's like he's trying to explain that decision to someone. Karl Sutton's just popped out of the arena for a comfort break. We'll resume the commentary when he gets back.
So Karl Sutton re-enters the arena. Frame 11. Phil Harrison's going to be breaking off after that marathon 10th frame. Trails by 2, and he's not going to be feeling too unhappy to be trailing, if you like. He certainly doesn't affect his game. So a very tough player. Soft break-off shot there. I'll tell you what, all the reds look perfect here.
That's the best break of the match, by the fact he hasn't potted one.
Yeah. A little bit unlucky. There's a couple of balls red at the bottom and yellow at the top of the table, but no. And probably this is just what Karl would want now. You know, having spent all that time grinding out frame 10, if he could come to the table and a quick clearance, certainly gives Phil Harrison something to think about.
This would be a great frame for Karl to win, get back 3 ahead. The first time he's had a 3-frame lead since frame 4 of this match. He won the first 3 and then got himself into a bit of trouble for the next few. Quite important, this middle section of the match. It's a chance for one player to really motor ahead, or conversely a chance for Phil, if he'd have taken it, to level things up again.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that last frame's a turning point yet, because, like I say, Phil's a very tough player, and a lot of players, when we've seen this situation, you know, there's one frame, as you say, in this middle section of the match, where it turns the match, and a player loses some focus, some concentration, and their opponent runs 2 or 3 frames, and it's virtually over, you know, before they've realised what's happened to them. But I say, in the context of this match, I don't think it is.
No, I think the less experienced players, particularly rookies on the TV stages, are far more prone to that. They can be in a match and then their head goes down and suddenly they've lost 3 or 4 frames, whereas someone like Phil Harrison knows you've got to play them one by one and make absolutely sure of each one.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like playing a team game between 2 people. It's like 1-frame pool. That's what he's playing. It's like every frame is an individual match, if you like, for him.
Yeah, it works for some people. I think it's a good mentality a lot of the time. Some people don't like to get bogged down. I feel it takes them out of their own rhythm. Not that Phil's really a slow player, but he's just not somebody to go for a crazy finish if it's not there.
No, just one good shot required here from Karl Sutton in this finish. It's like he's got... He's looking there. He's going to leave the cue ball between the 2 yellows, the one that's near the middle pocket and the one that's below it. Stun across. I mean, it's quite a big area there to stun across towards the side rail, and he's done it pretty much perfect there.
Yeah, it's a safer option doing that than trying to leave the cue ball on the other side. Now just a simple drop in.
Yeah, down goes the 8, and Karl Sutton now leads 7-4 in this race to 10 in Blackpool.
He certainly won't be complaining about getting a quick one on the board after having to fight so hard in the previous frame. Nice to notch one up in no time at all there.
Yeah, the last thing I think you'd have wanted there was another long tactical battle. If you're not used to it, you know, it can wear you down.
Although I think he'd be pleased with the way the tactical frames have gone. To beat Phil Harrison in a tactical frame of that nature. Well, especially after the mistake where he went in off, it looked like he could have thrown it away. Have a second chance.
Yeah, because that was a sort of like a really poor shot, or choice of shot from Karl, and Phil was a little bit unlucky, but I just wonder whether the better option was to try and split all 3 in one go. But
well, you felt if he did that with the first shot, at least he had some options, because he was always going to be on a shot. There was still something he could do, whereas if you leave it till the second shot, you've got less chance. Well, that's a clear example of how one little mistake can end up costing you 2 frames. Because Karl Sutton's been given a pretty quick frame there from Phil's dry break. Now, can you really make him pay? How much would he love to pot a ball off this break and have another go?
Yeah, let's see there in the shot. There's one of the guys from Mauritius, new to the tournament this time. I think we've had a great time. And the captain, Shabir, never had a smile off his face all week. Fantastic example to the game.
Yeah, I must say that's one of the things I've enjoyed most about the last few years of this tournament. We've had some great overseas teams. Morocco, of course, won a couple of years ago. That was wonderful for the game and wonderful bunch of lads there.
Yeah, one of the truly great performances in the world of pool. That, you know, they were dead and buried against Australia in the semi-final, fought the way back, and then I wouldn't say they destroyed England, but they played so well. Every chance they got, they took it, and it was a great performance. And I say, Mauritius guys, I think maybe not done so well as overall as a team, but they've certainly did have one notable victory. They defeated England in the round robin, which I think was a little bit of a wake-up call for the England guys. But just the example they've set, you know, every time you've seen them, they've had a smile on their face. I say Shabir, who led the team, said, "Why get upset if you lose? It's a game of pool."
Yes.
And they really put it into perspective for me, you know.
Yes, an example a lot of people could follow. You see so many people that are so depressed and fairly inconsequential matches.
Back to this match, dry break from Karl. Let's open the table up for Phil Harrison. Try and peg a frame back here. Best of 19 semi-final. Again, good positional shot going to be required from Phil here. Looks like he's just gone slightly too far. He probably wanted him to be screwing straight back here. I think when he screws back, he'd be going into the red, so he's going to have to try and stun across into the gap between the two reds and the one red nearest the middle pocket. No, he's opted to cannon into the red. Always a little bit dangerous when you cannon into a ball like that. You don't get it 100%, leave yourself in a bit of trouble, but great execution from there, Phil.
Yeah, he hasn't quite got into his stride in this match. There were some frames early on when he was going for clearances where the position just looked a bit more laboured than it usually is. Back in prime position again now in this frame. One to the bottom right, penultimate one to the bottom left, and then that one in the middle affords good position onto the black. Well, Karl slightly underwhelmed by proceedings at the moment, but must deep down be happy to be, well, 7-4 at the moment, soon to be 7-5 up.
And again, this is just what Phil Harrison will have wanted. So that long tactical frame, and then a dry break that Karl dished from. He certainly didn't want to be parked in his chair for any length of time.
Well, one very surprising statistic from the match, I don't think we've had any clearances from people's own breaks. There's been some dry breaks like these two where they've traded each other, the other guys cleared up. Neither of them quite getting their own break sorted, but that's good enough for Phil Harrison. Now only trails by 2. Karl Sutton leads by 7 frames to 5.
Just remind our viewers that after this first semi-final, we've got a little bit of unknown territory. We've got 2 qualifiers who've come through, Richard King and Sean Chipperfield. Battled the way through the qualifying rounds here in the early part of last week, and then through a massive day of pool on Thursday. And he played last 64, last 32 and last 16 all in one day. And fought the way into the semi-finals with great victories on the quarter-final day on Friday afternoon. So that'll be following this match.
Yeah, I must say from a neutral's point of view I quite like it. A couple of qualifiers come through. It gives everyone else hope that they can do it.
I think a similar thing happened last year. Nigel Clark came through, although Nigel, one or two may have known, because he played in the England setup as a youngster. He played in the under-21 certainly, so he wasn't a complete unknown. But yeah, certainly gives everybody hope that they, if they play on the UK tour, if they go to the qualifier at Great Yarmouth in England, or they qualify through their own country maybe and come from overseas, that they've got a chance to win this title. So back to the action here in this best of 19 semi-final. Phil Harrison breaks off frame 13. He's trailing 7-5. Opting for the cut break this time, and he's made a ball.
Yeah, you feel he's been slightly chasing this break. He's tried several different breaks from the other side of the table. He's now finally moved over to the left-hand side as we look at it. One of the few that he's actually potted so far. First look, this looks quite nice. It looks like the top right-hand corner pocket, the balls aren't blocking each other, so still got choices.
Yeah, I think if that red hadn't been in the way, he's probably looking to take plant the reds first, but it isn't. He's going to have to take the yellows here. But as you say, they're all in the open. The two that are on the left-hand side just below the middle pocket, you take the higher one into the middle pocket and it clears it out for the bottom one. Probably goes bottom left. So
Yeah, the only thing about that is you need to land on it in such a way that you don't knock the second one safe while you're
I would
playing.
say he's looking at playing the reds. He's played the 3-ball plant there.
Yeah, I think apart from that first shot, which is obviously now dealt with anyway, the reds were just slightly easier.
See Neil Wren there looking on, attentive, UK Tour player, big supporter of the game. You see him at these championships quite a bit. He will have played in the Masters over the weekend.
Anybody looking for details of the streaming over the next couple of days, have a look at our Facebook pages. Search for UK Pool Tour. Streaming of all the UK Pool Tour events and, of course, this World Championships in Blackpool.
Not quite sure Phil's left himself in the best positional place here. I think he's overrun that ball. Looking to stun back up the table. He's just trying to. Oh no, he's okay there. I thought there was more of an angle that he potentially going towards the two yellows on the left-hand side, but he hasn't. But again, is he having to leave himself the plant here?
Yeah, and if he is, this is far from straightforward, because even though the pot should be easy enough because the yellows make it a big pocket, it would be very easy to knock that second red past the yellow and end up leaving it safe.
He's almost got to looking at playing this dead weight. He's going to do that. He has. Oh no! It went through. Well, I'm surprised. He's just flicked off the yellow, so it went through the gap.
Yeah, that's much better from his point of view. There's a lot that could have gone wrong if he'd have had to play the plant. Well, I wouldn't exactly say he's making it look simple at the moment, but the balls are disappearing, which is the main thing. And I think that's the difference. When he's playing well, he does make it look really simple. He's one of those guys where you think he's just being left simple clearance after simple clearance, and he's not really. It's just that he's playing them well. Oh, what's he done here?
He's just got into that too much. And he straight away he knew. The hand came up, the cue came up, and now he looks down disconsolate. Because he knew in the back of his mind that one good shot there, and it's 7-6 and all to play for.
Well, it felt like he got caught between two shots. In the end, he may have been trying to play it around two cushions with a bit of side and just didn't quite get enough side on it. He was just trying to get the white back nearer the middle of the table. This is a very unnecessary mistake to have made, though. Quite a big area where you'd have had some kind of shot at the red. And that's been his shortcoming today, so if he's going to be critical of any element of his performance, it's just been some loose positional shots.
I think he's gone for a bit of a Hail Mary there around the table.
Oh, and what a awful situation he's left himself now. Karl Sutton coming to the table with loads of balls to play with. Insurance, if he ever wants to play a safety, it'll be easy to play a snooker.
I think Karl's looking to get into those two yellows that are on the left-hand side below the middle pocket here straight away. Not really leaving those towards the end. He can just drop this one in the corner pocket and leave the one that's the higher of the two. He's just coming to have a look at the angle. Takes that into the middle, clears the path for the other one. Almost certainly bottom left, although it would go in the middle if he needed it to.
He just had a bit too much angle to hold
Yeah,
it.
I don't think he felt he could hold that. But again, he probably felt he might want to be a little bit straighter on this, although we have been deceived a couple of times on the angle where it looks like there's quite a bit of angle and it has been almost straight.
Yeah,
shot,
I think this one he can run through. He just needs to make sure he ends up low on the top of these two yellows, so that he can pot it clean without cannonning into the second one. That's fine.
Yeah. And like I say, the Karl Sutton of old would have either have had these balls finished by now, or he would have lost the frame. You know, he'd have handed the frame to the opponent. And I think he's just taking that little bit more time now and a little bit more thinking.
But I think what he's achieved is a good balance. Some people go from being very aggressive out-and-out potters to trying to play safety and then get themselves a bit confused and
Yeah.
they're not sure where they are. But he seems to have found quite a good balance in his game.
Yeah. It's certainly working for him at the moment. I say, European champion this year.
Yeah, there aren't many people that hold both of those titles at once. That would be quite some
No,
achievement.
I don't think it's been done too many times over the years, if at all. We maybe have to have a look at that. Look back in the record books. Just left himself queuing slightly awkward there.
Yeah, the kind of awkward angle as well. He just couldn't really get any closer to these yellows. Obviously, this first one's simple enough, but just wants to make sure he leaves himself a decent shot.
Again, this is about trusting your arm on the pace of this table. Because he's been looking to take... Oh, he's taking the left-hand one first. It's a lot thinner cut.
Yeah, it's a much more difficult pot. I'm not entirely surprised,
He's missed it.
just because the position was quite tricky off the other one. But I
Do
mean,
you know,
really,
not only has he missed it, he's left Phil Harrison absolutely perfect to get back up the table, because I think the black goes top right past that yellow. I'm really surprised he took that. I'm really surprised.
Even if the back doesn't go, he's got an absolutely perfect angle to get anywhere. He can play it in pretty much any pocket from where he is.
I think he needed to just trust his arm on the right-hand yellow there.
I think that's the right shot if you're sure you're not going to miss the ball. If there's any risk of missing the ball, that can't be the right shot.
Well, Phil's not up. He's just opted to carry on going.
Oh,
Well,
that's a nervy little one to leave.
yes, well, this is tough. You know, that stops 6-8 inches shorter. He's got a simple 8 right middle.
I think he just wanted to make sure he got past it. Felt he could leave the choice of the corner or the middle. But
It's
This is as
really
awkward
awkward
as it could
queuing
be.
here.
at least he doesn't have to do anything with it. Just kind of pop the ball.
You'll know as soon as you almost... Oh, he's missed
Oh.
that by a very long way. I mean, that was a tough shot, though. That was a really tough shot. He's left himself there. So, lifeline in frame 13, Karl Sutton.
Well, we said a couple of frames ago that frame may not have been a turning point, but surely this one, the difference between 8-5 and 7-6. Yes, 8-5 and 7-6. Clever shot there. Cushion first, just made this
Yeah, just...
easy enough anyway, but made it even easier.
Yeah, just leaves himself fairly straight on this, just to stun down the table. You see Phil Harrison there just looking on. No great emotion, little shake of the head. Knows that he's made a big mistake. Just wants that to bounce, and it has done. Great shot there, Karl Sutton. Down goes the 8, and it's now 8-5, Karl Sutton, in this race to 10.
Wow, how big a frame could that be? Phil Harrison looked for all the world like he was going to get it back to just one down again. Still maybe not time to be panicking, but Karl only needs 2 frames. He's getting into that danger zone where he can't afford to lose any more.
Well, the thing is, the problem is, if Karl Sutton finds a breaking dish now, well, yeah, it's Karl to break in this frame. If he finds a breaking dish, it puts massive pressure on Phil Harrison then. He can't afford another mistake. And you can see there, he's not happy at all. He's talking to himself, I think. He might just be talking to somebody in the crowd, or it's a. He's certainly expressing his views that he's certainly not happy. So referee Sasha Gauci just making sure front balls are all touching. So frame 14, Karl Sutton leads 8-5. 2 more frames for a place in the world final. He's made a yellow. He almost lost the white though in the corner pocket. He's not left a particularly easy finish on either set of balls here.
No, it'd be a relief to have a shot. I mean, how often do you see a men's individual semi-final where no break and runs off people's own breaks? Very surprising stat so far.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much extra space on the 8-foot table, but it's about the break shot on the 8-foot table.
Well, that's been the shortcoming, hasn't it? There've been a lot of good breaks, but they've either gone in off or they've left a shot for their opponent and not potted anything.
Yeah, I think Karl's been a little bit unlucky there because all the reds, when he cleared the yellow away from the pocket, he probably felt all the reds would go. Fortunately, I think the yellow has blocked the red into the top left because he'd have been looking to take the one in the middle, the one down the rail, and then that one to come back down the table for the other 3. So now somehow he's going to have to get over to the left-hand side of the table. You see he's looking at playing the cannon. So maybe he cannons the other red, which leaves him the angle to get across the left-hand side for the
Well, I think
red
it's just
near the
leaving.
yellow.
You have the angle to cannon it, but he's just thinking if he cuts this one up the cushion, then he can drop in behind. So it's quite a good angle to. Thin ones like this are easy, really.
There's a lot of left-hand side on this, I think.
Yeah, and that's been what they've both struggled with, getting a lot of side on. Yeah, it's just done it there.
Super shot there from Karl Sutton. Left himself a nice angle now to get back down the table. He can almost pick his spot where he wants to leave this cue ball. Success in this frame is all about this shot. I think he's come just a fraction further than he wanted to. I think he's okay.
Well, if that red next to the black pot's in the middle there, this will be a good opportunity. I think he can just screw back an inch or 2. Has he got too much angle? Can come at it from the other side if he has got too much.
Yeah, I wonder if he wanted to take this one into the middle, run through a little bit, and take the red that was between the yellow and the black first. But you see there, he's just pointed roughly where there's cue, where he wants to draw this back across the table, take the red bottom left. And he's got that, as you say, that red goes left middle.
Yeah, I think this is all right.
Which the way he's playing this, it looks like it does, Mark.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm lining it up now.
just showing you where he wants to do this. This is almost out of nothing. It didn't look a particularly good break. He almost lost the cue ball into the middle, into the top pocket. Just relying on one nice soft cannon on the yellow. Almost leave the cue ball where that yellow is now, just below the red.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play it too hard, but doesn't want to get it stuck to the yellow either. Just needs to bump it out the way so he can get his hand on the table.
Oh, he's missed the red. That's the 3rd time now, I think, in this match he's missed in that middle pocket.
That pocket has caused him so much trouble. I mean, you sort of say it as a joke because you don't seriously imagine he's going to be worried about one pocket, but really that one is starting to trouble him now.
At no point did I see him missing that ball into that middle pocket. Didn't even enter.
No, I don't know if his defence, whether it was tighter than it looked, that ball went. It looked to us like it went in, didn't it?
Yeah. He obviously he got there and he cued it, and he was pretty much perfect to where he was cueing from when he lined the shot up before that.
Well, I think if you want an example of how much he's mishit it, if you look at where the white had ended up, he wasn't really on the black. Like, he can't have been playing that position, I don't think.
Phil's played a nice shot there.
Yeah, these yellows are lovely as well.
Yeah, he's developed the 2 awkward yellows that he had. He's developed out. You see Karl there is looking to line up.
I mean, how do you play the shot and not leave Phil a shot at one of these yellows?
His only real shot is looking to play it really thin and try and pot it top right.
well, actually, if you're not going to pot it, he may just have obstructed it.
Yeah, I think the pace he played at, he didn't play to pot it. As you said, looks like he has tried to cover the yellow up the rail, but Phil Harrison just knocks this yellow out into a better position. He's actually tried to play the snooker there, and he's not got it.
Yeah, the other thing Karl was lucky about there was not leaving Phil a pot on that yellow that he's just played.
Oh, we were almost writing a number 9 on the scorecard there for Karl Sutton. But a lifeline for Phil Harrison, as again, tactical foul here from Karl. Just tucks up behind the yellow. Phil has to waste one shot here at least. Let's see if it's touching ball here, which obviously makes a difference because he can just play away from that. Yeah, and I think he's pointed at the cue ball there, referee Sasha Gauci from Malta, suggesting it's touching.
Yeah, that actually makes a very significant difference because if he had to play that ball, he'd be knocking it safer, whereas if he can play away from it, he's got a choice of anywhere on the table pretty much he can end up.
Yeah, as he looked to develop the other two.
Oh, look at that.
He has done, yeah. He's managed to get that red out of the way, so a little bit unlucky there from Karl Sutton, leaving the touching ball.
But what a difference. That's one of those shots where you play that without, he probably didn't give it much thought as to whether it was touching or not, and that's the difference between Phil being able to open these two up, and if it hadn't been touching, he wouldn't have been able to do that, and he'd have had the other ball safer as well. Well, he's absolutely got to get these. 8-6, and he's still in with a shout, whereas if he'd gone 9-5 down, you couldn't really see him coming back, although, as you say, he has had a couple of memorable comebacks, so I'm sure very memorable for the people he did it against.
Yeah, we've long forgotten who they played against, so they've told us to forget all about it, so we're not going to mention any names here. Because he's just one of those players, Phil. He just will not go away. And the thing about it as well, he's such a nice player, such a nice guy off the table. Always got a smile on his face, always got a word for people,
Yeah, he's not the most overtly competitive, as you say. He's such a charming guy. Some people who are very successful at sports tend to be quite single-minded and overly competitive, but he's not like that at all.
Yep. So opted to just develop the ball. All the yellows now in prime position. So Karl Sutton's going to have to find something here, something special. Because he's struggling to even get to the ball, I think. He's blocked, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, this feels a bit like a hit and hope. There's no... Well, I mean, you could try and rest dead weight behind it.
Exactly, that's his other option. And that, I'm just wondering if that's what he's looking at. No, he isn't. He's played it very aggressively.
I think dead weight was just such a low percentage shot. I think playing it like that, you have the chance of, you could fluke it, or you could maybe hit the black, you could maybe knock a ball safe.
I just wonder if he got caught in two minds because he didn't really hit it hard enough.
No, I mean, maybe if you hit it a bit harder, then there's more chance that you could knock some of the yellows safe, disrupt the table, because it's such a nice table for Phil at the moment.
I'd say it was a very low percentage shot to try and get him behind it, because if you don't quite make it, you leave the foul snooker cue ball in hand and it's frame over. So
I think he knew that was going to be his last shot in this frame, one way or another. Well, this is what Phil needed. And he's needed this a few times in this match. He's looked good when he's in, but Karl seems to have been in first more often than not. I wouldn't say 8-6 is a scoreline that exactly flatters, but I mean, actually, I think Karl could have been quite a lot further ahead. I think Phil might almost be the happier of the two players despite the scoreline.
oh, without a doubt, what's happening there now? Well, he's not happy. I don't know. He went to get down and got off immediately, slapped the table. So whether he's just stretching a little bit.
The angles are slightly awkward one, but he just has to play one side or other of the red and leave himself a shot.
Yeah. So simple 8-ball, right middle. And now it's 8-6, Karl Sutton. And Phil there looks like he's just leaving the arena. Take a short comfort break and we'll be back with you shortly.
There wasn't much to choose between the players at the start. There's still not much to choose between them now. Karl Sutton ahead by 2 frames. He's been the one that has had a lead when there's been a lead in this match. He's sneaked ahead by a maximum of 3, but been pegged back on a number of occasions. I think there were a few people before the match that had Phil as a marginal favourite based on his experience, but I have to say I think I'd have struggled to choose between them. Karl Sutton's been in such good form recently, I think it would have been difficult to bet against him, although, as you say, Phil fresh from winning the Masters, so it's not like he'd done a lot wrong.
No, and nice split there from Phil again. A little bit unlucky where the cue ball's finished. He's potted a yellow, but I'm certainly going to take reds here. And there's actually only one slightly awkward red on the left-hand side of the table. All the others do go, so he's going to have to somehow find his way to that.
Yeah, it's actually, even though it's not that well tied up, it's in a surprisingly awkward place, that red. There's just no obvious way of getting to it. Dropping behind is difficult, and there's no ball that links up really obviously to it, which I think is why he's looking at this safety option.
Yeah, he's not attacked here, he's just gone the safe route. Lock that cue ball in.
And we've seen a fair bit of that in this match. There's been a few times where other players might have considered going for a finish where Phil hasn't gone for anything too reckless.
I've got to admit, I'd be surprised if you see Karl go for these. As I say, I think he's going to just touch up to the reds.
Yeah, in that situation, no real advantage.
Yeah. No touching ball
Yeah,
this
I was going to say,
time.
he hasn't made the mistake.
No,
He's learned from that one. It would have perhaps be slightly less costly here, although it would still be much easier, this shot, if it was a touching ball. He's going to have to just skim off the side of the red. He's played that well. So still just the one difficult red that we referred to a moment ago.
Yeah, Phil's just got to find a way of maybe just nudging that yellow towards the side rail. It frees the red up into the bottom left-hand corner pocket.
He has got the angle to do it here, but don't know whether he's going to be tempted.
He's opted to do that well. It's actually the red that he's made contact with, and it does now go bottom left, but it's a tough shot.
Yeah, he'd have rather hit the yellow though, wouldn't he? That would have made it much easier.
The red was in a better position if he moves the yellow, but he has got the chance. Took a little bit of a chance there. He's flirted towards the black in the middle pocket, over the middle pocket. But
and it's not like neither of them had any trouble with that. They've both been in off in that middle pocket in situations where they shouldn't have. So it's going to be all about landing on that tricky red just under his body now.
I mean, that was the one thing I saw Phil play a few frames over the weekend in his Masters triumph, that the one thing he was very good at was getting his position. It was absolutely spot on most of the time. As soon as he got a chance of a finish like this, he was taking it.
Well, that's normally where you'd, I think, rate him the highest. Like, his position is just so intuitive. He never seems to be moving the cue ball around, but is always absolutely right. Today, I think there's been one or two where, unlike this one, he's almost. I think he's on the. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if he's perfectly on the red, but the bigger problem is that he doesn't have the angle to get back for the other red.
Exactly, wanted more angle here to get back out between the two yellows for the red in the corner, the right-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, this would have been easier with several inches further to the right. He's going to have to play this harder now.
He's still got it.
Yeah, that's a good pot. Playing at that pace was starting to become missable, but he's judged that very well. Now just needs to either run this through or screw back, just make sure he doesn't brush off that yellow in an inopportune way.
Yeah. Take the option to nudge the yellow out of the way. The 8-ball centre pocket. And Phil Harrison now trails just by 8 frames to 7 in this race to 10.
Well, that was a whisker away from going 9-5 a couple of frames ago. Now suddenly we're looking at an 8-7 scoreline, and you can't choose between them.
I've got to admit now I'm going to call this as a last frame decider. I know it's getting close to it anyway, but you just can't see that one or either player is going to take out. Karl's going to take 2, or that he needs, or 3. Phil's going to take the 3. I think we're going all the way to a. And the problem with this is our other 2 semi-finalists are sat in the wings waiting for this. Should have been on a little while ago.
Yeah, 3 hours already match time for this. This is a long match, especially between 2 top-class players. You expect them to get it finished quicker.
Yeah, I think we've had that. We had certainly one really long tactical frame 10. Took a fair amount of time. See some of the crowd looking on there. Andy Cross, former professional pool player. Now he's just enjoying the amateur game. His wife Anna there. They've come up for the week, they were telling me. I've spoken to them on Sunday afternoon. So, frame 16. Karl Sutton to break. Desperately looking to see a ball disappear off the break here. And there's nothing down. But once again, the table isn't exactly open either way. Can take the red top left and it clears the yellow out of the way, that corner pocket. Slightly awkward red on the left-hand side of the right-hand side of the table on the rail, but it goes down the pocket, goes down the rail into the pocket, so no great danger there.
We always talk about the importance of the break, and it's been such a clear example of that in this match. That it's been a complete inability they both had to simultaneously break well and pass a ball. It's been really costly.
I mean, all the great players over the years seem to struggle. The only person who I can never remember really struggling with the break was Chris Melling. He used to have such a massive, powerful break. He seemed to be able to make a ball almost every time.
Well, he absolutely launched into it, didn't he? He'd throw himself across the table, the cue would be bent into it.
I was going to say, I think if you've seen the stills of when he used to break off, the end of his cue was actually bent in the air after he's played the break shot. It's such amount of power that you put into it.
Well, he used to play with that tiny light cue as well.
It was ridiculous, about a 7mm tip or something like that he played. It was crazy.
He even played 9-ball with it for a time.
Yeah. I say, and over the years, all the great players, I say, have struggled. Even Gareth Potts, when he was winning his world titles, he would struggle at times. Mick Hill, another one.
I mean, the only saving grace for these two is that the other one's been struggling so much. I think if one of them had got it together, it could have been a really one-sided scoreline.
Yeah.
It's the fact that pretty much nobody has made any kind of start off their own break, so they're just swapping around each time.
Phil is making light work of this clearance here. Just needs one reasonably good positional shot he needs to get the one down the side rail. He wants to come back about a foot from where he is now. He looks pretty much straight on this red, top left. Yeah, it's got a little bit of an angle, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's perfect, isn't it? Just get the
It's
cue
going
ball
to be a
just
little
off the
bit
cushion.
awkward. He's going to be stretching over the 2 yellows. That's the only thing he's going to have to consider with this shot. You know, it might just make it a little bit awkward for him. You see, he's just having a look down there, but no, I think he's fine. You just see our referee there crouched down, checking. So easy with them sometimes on the rail, just to pinch too much, and it goes down, hits the knuckle and comes out. But great visit here from Phil Harrison.
Well, he won 3 frames in a row to level things up at 3-all. That must seem like a long time ago now.
I've got to admit, Mark, it was.
It was a very long time.
Because the match did start off at a fairly brisk pace and then just slowed a little bit. Again, a little tap of the floor there from Phil. He just left himself a little potentially awkward queuing.
Yeah,
I think he can just get to the side of the yellow, but
Another one that's just so unnecessary. If you can get your hand on the table and just screw back, this is just so easy. But
yeah. I think he wanted to get the other side of the yellow and leave it a lot straighter on the red, and he stuns back and black into the same corner pocket. He's just got to jack the cue up a little bit here. You see there.
Yeah, I mean, this turns a shot that you simply couldn't miss into one that you probably could miss if on a bad day. Oh, well, I mean,
It wasn't the missing.
that's as
Yeah,
bad as
you
missing
see
it,
there. Kick of the air in frustration from Phil.
I mean, that's the last thing he wants to do. He's one ball away from levelling this up at 8-all.
Yeah, and he's looked there. He's looking. Does it double back into that? And no, look to the air. The skies tells you it does not go past that yellow bottom right.
I don't know how Karl's keeping a straight face here. If it was me, I'd be sitting there grinning at the prospect of, like, suddenly from looking like he was going to be playing a best of 3, he could so easily come back to the table now.
Yeah. The problem for Phil here, he's going to have to find something that puts some pressure on Karl. Whether that black will just get down and he can cover towards that corner pocket. No, he's hit the yellow. Almost pocketed it.
Well, but you can't see any way back for Phil in this frame, can you? I mean, that's what more would you want of your Karl? Balls are open, the black's covered anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're towards the back end of this semi-final now. Karl Sutton does know all about pressure out in that world arena. He's potted the winning ball in the world team final once, capturing the title for England. So he knows what it's all about.
Yeah, I was saying to Lee earlier, I think you're a good player if you play well in that team format. It's such a difficult format when you only get one go. The people that can still come out and clear up in the one visit when they've only got the one visit, that's the special thing.
Yeah, because this wasn't straightforward from Karl. This yellow that he's on now was the awkward one, but again, he'd have probably wanted to leave a bit more angle on this to get back down the table. He's got the insurance of the ball over the corner pocket. I mean, he could just look to drop this in and take that one, and as long as he misses the black on the way out, he'd get position, but he opted to screw back.
Well, I think he's going to have to take your option. That wasn't what he played, clearly.
I think he was looking to take one of the 2 yellows that are virtually on the black spot.
It's funny, isn't it? You see a ball like this and you sort of want to keep it as insurance, but I mean, actually, he can't be having any thoughts of not clearing these up, so it's a bit academic.
Yeah,
really.
These players don't think about. I mean, we play the game in our local pub, and you think, oh, I'll leave that one over the pocket till last. As you say, it's my insurance ball, but these players don't think like that. He looks okay.
Yeah,
he's got to leave this in a position where he can stun back off the. If he can't see the bottom one of the 2 yellows, he needs to be able to stun back off the top one.
Yeah, I think he's just got slightly the wrong angle, hasn't he? Ideally, he wants the white to be coming back towards him.
I think he's just okay.
Yeah, you can't do any better than just drop it in, but that's just enough.
Yeah. Like I say, the angle's a little bit deceptive that we've got on the camera here. We have seen once or twice in this match where we thought players just been straight or not straight, as the case may be. This is a super reply here from Karl Sutton. he obviously thought, he must have been sat in his chair thinking, this is 8 frames all this.
Well, I mean, that is such an important moment. I think for Karl, like, there's no better position to be in than having a couple to win it. I think having to play the decider when it's your first time to get into a world final would be tricky, whereas now when you've got a couple of grace, it just makes it that much easier.
Yeah, certainly held his nerve there. Karl Sutton now leads 9-7, just 1 frame away from a place in the world final. And if he does that, it'd be interesting because it'd be a new name on the trophy, because there's only Phil Harrison of these 4 semi-finalists who's won the event before. And I think everybody would put Karl as a massive favourite, if he does get through. With the greatest respect to both Richard and Sean, they've earned the right to be here. But on paper, people would say, well, Karl Sutton's the favourite with all the experience. But the game isn't played on paper. It's
No,
played
I
on that
think
8-5-4 table.
And I think either of them could get a serious surprise. Well, probably from either player, but certainly from Sean Chipperfield. I think they'll both, if they're not already familiar with him, they'll be surprised at just what a good posture he is.
I think all these players are familiar with each other. Certainly Karl Sutton and Sean Chipperfield know each other. They're from the same region.
Yes, both from the
Karl's
Norwich area,
Suffolk and Sean's Norfolk, so they'll know each other from events, both local and Great Yarmouth national events, so there'll be no surprises there. Richard King will probably be a little bit unknown quantity, but anyway, still a match to be won here. As Phil Harrison breaks off. He's made a ball. Again, not the greatest of splits. The blacks finished slightly awkward there in a little cluster of balls.
Yeah, but he's going to have to go for the reds, really, isn't he? And, well, unless I don't think that yellow pot's top left. If it does, a bit more choice. But
I think he's going to be going. He'd be looking to go reds if he was going out here, because it's the 2 reds that are round by the black.
Yeah,
so he's going to move them anyway. Yeah, so he'd be moving them out the way, which would then clear the path for the black.
Although it's not a formality to move them anyway, because that yellow is slightly in the way. So
yeah, but he's got the one in the right hand middle first as an opener if he wants, and he could then take the one to nearest to the pocket, which would then free up the path to the pocket for certainly one of those reds. But quite a bit of work to be done here for Phil Harrison,
especially under this utmost of pressure.
He's opting to clear the reds at the bottom end of the table first here, and that's what you would always do. The top players always do generally. They'll keep the work in one end of the table or the other, sending the cue ball as little travel as possible.
The match is passing the 3-hour mark. That's not something I expected to say with this semi-final.
No, like I say, it's there's been some high quality pool here, and there's been some high quality tactical play, and that's what has turned it into a bit of a marathon here. I've got to admit, I do not think that the next match will go 3 hours.
No, I don't think I've ever seen Sean Chipperfield play for an hour before, let alone 3 hours.
Phil, he just wanted a little bit less contact on that yellow. Only a fraction less, and he leaves himself spot on the red. He's still got some work to do anyway, because the red that's below the black is causing him an issue. He clears one red out of the way, the one that's above the black, but the one that's below it still needs to be developed out. Just wondering if he's just nudging the red up. I wonder whether he was just looking to try and nudge it over the pocket. And again, played with the rest. He may have come too far there. I feel he might have been trying to leave the one into the top left to stun back into the other red.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's plumb on both of these balls, but that still doesn't deal with the third one. The one that's in the middle of the 3 reds is the tricky one. I think he's just off straight the wrong angle in the one at the bottom end of the table to get back. Oh, the very familiar Harrison shake of the head. That doesn't give much away.
can now pot the one top right, but he's going to have to trust to some luck to get on that last one.
Well, that was a brave shot. Well, I mean, I suppose an unavoidable shot, because what else was he going to do? But
I don't think he's got too much options. You see there looking on, I think that's Sophie Gibbs-Nichols there, England international. It's unfortunate to be on the wrong end of a big scoreline against Australia in the ladies' team final last night. I think they were 5-3 up England and lost 13-5. Apparently the Australians played out of their skins. A fantastic performance for those Australian ladies. And we'll see the men later on trying to emulate that performance against England. So Phil Harrison looks like he's on the red middle pocket. But as he got the angle to run through, he's jacking up, so I don't think he has.
I think he's screwing back for the same pocket.
Yeah. Super performance here from Phil Harrison. This was certainly not a straightforward clearance. Down goes the 8, and it's now 9-8 Karl Sutton in a race to 10.
Well, one thing you'd have to say about Phil Harrison, at no point in this match has it been possible to tell the scoreline from looking at the way he played. He hasn't played any differently. He's gone a few frames behind on a couple of occasions, but at no stage has he let his head get down. I mean, he's shaken his head a lot and looked disappointed, but he still played in a positive way.
Generally, that means he's perfect, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It has done in the past. You say, crowd looking on, some of the Australian youngsters there. The England ladies team captain. Certainly multinational tournament now. Players coming from all over the globe. The Union Islands were here again this time.
Yeah, I'm always so impressed the distances some of these people come to compete. It's quite a logistical exercise. Got to get your whole team together, all the travel expenses.
Yeah. It's not just this event. I mean, we've got some of the Reunion Island players now playing on the UK tour. A couple of the Moroccan guys are playing on the UK tour as well, you know. And if you actually use Facebook, you'll see that 3 or 4 days beforehand, you'll see they've arrived in some UK airport and then made their way to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that really is commitment, isn't it? I mean, it's the only way. It's good practice sometimes to be the best player in your area, but sometimes you just need really tough opposition that teaches you what to do and punishes you for any mistake.
And I think that's the same with the UK players. You've got some players who come on the tour that you've seen around for years, and by coming and playing the best players in the country, you know, they've progressed, the game has, and they've come through. So, frame 18. Is this the final frame of this first semi-final? Karl Sutton's going to break. Just one frame away from the world final. He's been unlucky there. Cue ball's got kicked in.
Oh, look at where the reds
and
are
look
finished.
at the reds. He's potted 2 reds and the other 3. I think Lee Kendall would call them pretty much roll-ins from here. I don't think anything's a roll-in at 9-8 down in the world semi-final. You certainly won't be see Phil Harrison running around the table here.
I mean, you literally could not ask for a better opportunity to level the match up and take it to the side, could you?
No. That's where that all-important lag becomes so precious. If
Well,
Phil does level it up, he'll be breaking in the decider.
Well, I have to say, the way this match has gone, I don't know if either of these two would relish the chance to break. I think they'd probably rather their opponent did.
Well, he had a break condition his last frame, Phil, where he broke. Frame 17, so...
Well, you certainly feel if Phil does go on to clear these up, and we don't want to put the hex on him by mentioning it already, but the pressure's really going to be on Karl Sutton. Needed to win 1 of the last 3 frames. Seen 1 go, this one's not looking too promising.
Phil's just caught in between there as to which of these 2 to take. He's opting to take the outside one, but got down once and thought better of it. Well, that's Phil Harrison all over. A lot of players have got down and not felt comfortable, and they're still taking the shot and missed it, and then thought, oh, why didn't I get back up? But certainly not Phil Harrison using all of the experience here.
Well, he's such a good example for players to copy in so many ways. The way he goes about it, his demeanour off the table, consistency on the table.
I think whatever happens here, Phil is quite candid, and he'll tell you he's not performed to the best of his ability in this semi-final, one way or the other in terms of the result. But he won't care about that. If his name's that first name into the final, that's all he's trying to do here.
So a little bit thinner on this last one than he'd wanted in an ideal world, but still a simple enough shot. Just got to make sure he doesn't lose the white.
Yeah, and just a little bit awkward leaning over that yellow. It's quite close to it, but I think our referee's in very close order to it. Well, it's not gone. Well, he's cut it that thin, it's stayed over the pocket. And what an opportunity now for Karl Sutton. I mean, they're not easy. They're not easy at any point. But this clearance now for a place in the World Final. And Phil Harrison looks to the skies. He shakes his head and thinks, what have I done there? Because really all he had to do, if he was unsure, pop the ball in with pace and take the cue ball back up the table for the black in the bottom right. Just wonder whether Karl will take the opportunity to develop the yellow that's on the rail, and almost certainly will here. Takes the outside, or the middle one of those three that are on the right hand side. Just nudges into the yellow.
Yeah, it's an easy cannon. The only thing he's got to be careful of is making sure he gets some kind of position.
He's got to make sure of the pot, to be honest. He has. Yeah, he's okay because he can take that yellow now top right. And he could run through and take the opportunity to clear those two balls at the top of the table. What must be going through his mind now? His heart must be pounding. Oh, he's opting to take it thin into the middle. Again, he's come a little bit too far. I think he wanted to be probably stopped about a foot shorter than that.
This must feel like a bonus opportunity though. He must have been psyching himself up to play the decider to get this almost free chance before that. Not as much pressure. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, but at least he knows that even if he was somehow to miss, he's still got one more go at it.
Play that with a lot of drag there to hold that cue ball.
Yeah, even having seen that was where Phil Harrison went wrong. He tried to drag that last red in, playing very low down on the cue ball, played it too slowly.
He's opting to run this through here, Karl Sutton, off the bottom, top rail. I think he's okay, yeah, he's got the angle here to come off the side rail, and back across for the bottom yellow into the same right hand corner pocket. Well, this has been a great performance from Karl Sutton. He's just 2 balls away now from a place in the World Final. And this simple 8 ball, right middle. Down it goes, and Karl Sutton secures the match and a place in that World Final, 10 frames to 8 against Phil Harrison. You see there, congratulations from the crowd, congratulations from Phil. That's exactly what you'll see, and he'll openly admit that Karl Sutton probably deserves that on the strength of what's happened.
Well, what a match. We expected it to be close, but 3 hours for our first match, more than 3 hours in the end. Karl Sutton prevailing just by 2 frames. So many times in that match he looked like he could run away with it, but Phil Harrison just kept pegging him back, just wouldn't go away. Just, in the end, one too many mistakes towards the end of that match proved costly. Coming up next this afternoon, we've got the second semi-final. Richard King takes on Sean Chipperfield. We're running approximately an hour behind schedule because of the late running of this first match. We'll be back with live streaming of that match in a few minutes' time when it gets started. Thanks for your company. See you soon.